Good evening, one and all. It is a Sunday, it's the end of the week, and it's time that we jump into some more good old Warframe. Welcome everyone, hope you're doing well where you are around the world today. Today, I'll be quite honest with you, today is not a weapon or frame building day. It is not a day where we farm something in particular, not trying to get a new code weapon, not trying to get a new necromech or anything like that. God, heaven forbid another necromech. Nope. Today, the idea is simply relics. Just relics, because if I sort this by owned, I'm nearly at triple digits on the most common relic I have. It's getting a little bit ridiculous. There's just too many relics in here. And so, I want to get them quickly. I'm just going to burn through the relics with a nice cozy loadout. That's the plan. A little bit of a cooldown from it all, I suppose. Archangel891 with your Prime up onto 3 months there. You got that lovely, lovely silver badge next to your name. Archangel, much appreciated. Cheers. Just a teeny slurper there because that is a very hot mug of tea. Alright, let's see what is going on in the Relic world. Thank you very much there, Flo, for the pop. Birthday pop. Is it your birthday today, Flo? Is it indeed your birthday today? It is? Well, would you look at that. Happy birthday, Flo. Happy birthday to you. You got a birthday in Pride Month, no less. I mean, it just all comes together, doesn't it? Happy birthday. Alright, let's get cracking these relics.
Bring them to the extraction point. Happy hunting.
Find target.
Void fishers.
Obliterate.
You need them to open a relic, but are you confident you can withstand their
There we go, finally took some damage. I was wondering if my parkour was going to turn on,
near a fisher.
and then it did.
Target located. Bring them in. Mission complete. The captive has been escorted to the extraction point. Well done.
Is it me or is there just not a lot of corrupted around here? Also, I think my enemy highlighting is actually making it a little harder to tell who is corrupted and who's not today.
Open your void relic.
There we go, I can see that corruption better now.
More reactant. Stay focused. There's a heavy unit.
Now, I'm
approaching.
probably going to swap weapon, actually. Seeing as this is not a Steel Path mission, I don't need the sheer single target level of power. I'm spending too much time shooting stuff. Ironic in the looter shooter to be shooting too much. There we go.
You have collected enough reactants to open your relic.
Let's ride that.
Heads up, a Grenier assault team is headed your way.
Another dash. Oh. I got a little unfortunately stuck. Do another. Now that's the kind of dash you live for. Not a perfect one, but still a good one. And again. This is mobility levels at full speed, where I'm spending more of my time in Vile Rush than out of it.
Happy birthday to me.
There we
Happy
are.
birthday to me.
Well executed.
Ronald, is it your birthday as well? I think we had this conversation last year, did we not? It feels like it. All the same there. Ronald, and for the 1998 variety on the 28-month resub. Thank you very much once again there, and happy birthday to you as well. Cheers indeed. 2 birthdays? It does appear to be that way. I mean, if you think about it. If you really think about this, 365 days in a year. And we have, what, how many followers on this channel? 26,000. There's going to be a few birthdays going around, I suppose. That's just kind of how it has to be. Well, thank you very much there. Much appreciated. Alright. Envoy. Let's do this. And whilst I'm at it, I'm actually going to de-equip my secondary. There we are. Am I explaining the birthday paradox tonight? Nah, sounds like you already know about it. Sounds like that does not need me to go into it. Alright, relic number 2. I hope someone's keeping track of these, because I'm not. I'm going to lose count somewhere around about 5 relics in, I think.
You are here to find our target and bring them to the extraction point. Happy hunting. Watch out. I'm detecting void fissures nearby. Do you have a matching relic?
Why, I think I might, Lotus. It's almost as if I can't start the mission without it.
Target located. Bring them in. Excellent work. We'll interrogate the captive back at
Nope.
base. Your
Reactant.
part is done
Gip,
here,
gip, gip,
General.
gip, gip. Oh, it's turned into an exterminate. Oh no.
Your original objective.
Oh, whatever shall I do?
Nothing alive.
Probably obliterate everything, to be honest.
Meet the collective and use their reactant to open a relic. Stay focused.
Yeah, what would be the interesting stat is if I somehow, in a community of this size, have any day of the year where no one's birthday is represented by that day. I don't think the odds are remotely close to possible. Oh, sorry, remotely close to probable. The odds are always going to be possible, but I don't think it is remotely probable.
You are surrounded by clear marines.
I don't feel very surrounded. Is this what the Grenier have to offer? It's still better than the Caldari and Eve. That was an experience.
Ranks and they are on the run. Another successful
Or rather,
find
wasn't.
extraction.
February 29th? Even with the sheer number of people we've got here, February 29th is likely represented.
Mission complete.
February
Excellent
29th comes around once every 4 years, okay? So that is 1 day out of 3 lots of 365 and 1 366. Which is very literally a 1 in 1,461 chance. If I take that chance, or rather, yeah, I take 1 minus, that minus 1, yeah, that number, so that chance inverted is what I'm getting at here. The chance of any random person not having that birthday is 99.93%. If I then raise this to the power of the number of followers on this channel, which is 26,253 apparently, this comes out to a 1 in, oh dear, 64 million chance. A 1 in 64 million chance that no one of those followers, not one of them, was born on February 29th. Yeah, I get distracted easily, Ladybug, it's fine.
You are here on a
But hey, I think that was a worthwhile distraction.
capture and extract our target.
1 in 64 million chance that none of my Twitch followers
Stand their fury.
was born on February 29th.
You're near a fissure.
And I can take just a simple average of the days like that because despite the variances in when people are born,
Need more to
it's not going to matter significantly enough.
found a target. Capture them quickly before they escape.
If anything, it is more likely to be closer to that than the actual statistics
There's a heavy
that may be given as to when people are born,
excellent work.
because there will be people who were actually born on the 29th, but their birthday will say either the 28th or the 1st of March, specifically to avoid any kind of administrative weirdness that comes from being born on February 29th. So for that simple reason alone of administrative lies, the incidence of people who are born on 29th might actually be higher than what any stats say. Fun fact. Well, fun thought, I suppose, not technically a fact. There's no way for me to accurately measure it.
Great work. I am pleased with your performance.
There we are. Don't me saying, you know what, Relic Cracky is kind of like booster pack opening. Hope that Ken doesn't turn on Balatra OST at some point. Don't worry, I'm not about to start eating Velox Prime blueprints, only to get a foiled Velox Prime blueprint. That is not going to happen. I know there is a certain someone with a certain connection to Warframe who hath stared into the void too long, and the void stared back into them and started laughing.
You are here to
They
find
did
our
get a bit
target
weird.
and bring them to the extraction point.
I do not have that capacity for weird, and I do not have that same level of
Do you have a matching relic?
appreciation for booster packs.
Found a fissure. Look out for reactants. They're
Who are we referring to?
trapped
Reb.
reactants.
So Reb did a live stream of hours of opening up MTG packs from the, I think it's Final Fantasy set.
Capture them quickly before they escape.
Reb was dressed up as one of the characters featured in the cards, which is some kind of clown,
Stay focused. There's
was repeatedly drawing this card against the odds, and it's not a particularly great card.
extraction point. Well done.
On drawing what looked like the fourth one, she ends up just quietly eating the card and continues to go through the cards in that pack, only to discover that one of the next cards in that same pack was a foil variant of that same card she was midway through eating.
The relic has
You cannot make this up.
Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
Now, on the one hand, I get all the humour of it and the silliness of it, and haha, funny moments. Cool, entertainment. But there is a very visceral disgust in me. And I do mean a visceral disgust in the process of spending 5 hours opening up loot boxes like that. I just... The core of me does not approve of it. I can't shake it. Despite the fact that, yes, I do have MTG cards. Despite the fact that, yes, I have played MTG Arena on stream. I just... It's the booster packs. It's just so much lower than spare prime part blueprints filler to that. Hey, Catch 2? Yeah. I just... Every single one of the cards I have is either a card that has been gifted to me, or is a card that I have purchased outright. A card that I purchased outright. I have not and will not purchase the booster packs. I just won't. If a business wants to sell something to me, sell the thing, not the promise of a possible thing. I ain't doing that. Honestly, Ladybug, someone eating a card at that point is so far down the list of things to be disgusted by that it doesn't even register, I'll be quite honest with you. I've been on the internet long enough. I've seen some of the things that people get up to, okay? There are worse things that can go into worse places than a bit of card going into one's mouth for a bit. No further detail is required on that. Oh, another change of plans. Alright, Lotus. Alright. Did you draw another clown? I'm just going to assume every time that I have to do an exterminate, Reb has somehow drawn another clown. It's still happening. Through eternalism. More clowns. But yes. Where does collecting motorcycles fall in that spectrum? Collecting motorcycles is not really something I have paid much attention to. As with anything, it's all in the detail, it's all in the nuance. Are we talking a collection of motorcycles that someone has individually cherished and repaired and restored? Are we talking a collection of motorcycles which is just for the sake of owning them? They're rotting in a pile somewhere. Are we talking a collection of just the oldest? Are we talking a collection that is putting someone in a financial hole? Are we talking a collection which is intentionally, or at least through negligence, creating a massive environmental negative? Like, you know, there's so many factors that come in. The mere collection of a thing is not a thing to concern yourself outright. That's the way I see it.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
Yeah. Loot boxes just really rub me the wrong way. And don't get me wrong, I've had various companies reach out wanting me to break that simple principle. It's one of the questions I bounce back if a company's like, hey, we want you to promote this game. It's like, okay, thanks for reaching out. Just a few questions about the game, let me know. Does it involve crypto? Does it involve NFT? Does it involve loot boxes? Does it involve paid improvements to one's ability to play the game? Pay to win features.
To find our target and bring them to the extraction point. Happy hunting.
Warframe, for example, does not have paid loot boxes. It does not have crypto or NFT elements, but it does have paid boosts. And so I'd want that disclosed. And then I can assess it myself. Fun fact! So far, every single game that I have bounced those questions to, either I then did not get a response from the agent reaching out, or has failed that test. Which says a lot. Now, to be honest, there are also others that I've not sent those questions to because I've taken one look at the game sometimes they want me to cover, and it's like, does this look like the right channel for you? They are. If I'm at the point of asking those those 4 questions, most of them fail it. Which is kind of wild. Yo, Reaper Nuts, welcome on in. Thank you very much for the raid there. Hope you've had yourself a wonderful stream. Thank you very much for deciding to bring your viewers over to this one at the end of it. Hope you've had yourself a great time. And if you do need to pop off right at this moment, I do understand you are at the end of your stream. But all the same, thank you very much for raiding on in. No way marketing with straight up answer the mail, yeah, we help you pay to win. But that's the thing. That's the thing. If they can't even tell me, yeah, we have these paid elements, then why the fuck would I want to work with them? If you can't even be honest with me, right then, well, we're just not working together. It's not a red line necessarily, because like I say, Warframe has some paid boost elements in it. You can pay to obtain various items without having to work for them in game. You can pay to access mods directly by trading for them. You can pay for improvements in resource drops, affinity gains. The boost can affect the squad as well as the individual. Lots of bits and pieces. But Warframe does it in a way that is manageable and frankly acceptable. Yeah. Reaper say, hey buddy, first time I actually managed to catch you, to be honest. Well, how are you? I'm doing alright, thank you. Hope you're doing well yourself. I've decided today is going to be a Ken Rambles whilst cracking Relic stream. That's what it is today. It is a Ken Rambles whilst cracking Relics. But yes. Brother already saying, not all streamers have Ken's scruples/ethics when money is involved. Very true. Not all streamers also have my diligence when it comes to checking contracts. If the contract has bullshit elements, those bullshit elements can be discussed as in fixed, or that's also not happening. Bullshit elements such as, yeah, we would like the rights to literally every part of everything that is involved in the deliverables in every way whatsoever, forever, worldwide, for any use, anything, you have no say in it. Yes, I have been offered contracts which include those kinds of terms, To which I responded, quite rightly,
Stay focused.
no.
There's a heavy unit approaching.
Because all rights, all content included in deliverables, one of those deliverables,
Extract.
for those of you unfamiliar with the terms deliverables, in this case being the thing that I deliver as part of a sponsorship, like a video, those deliverables are very specifically including my likeness. That is, it includes me. The whole purpose of a lot of you watching this stream is because the Kengineer is streaming it. And if a contract's like, yeah, we want the rights to everything included in the deliverables forever, that means the rights to my likeness forever, as pertaining to that item there. It's like, no, that just allows you to put my face on whatever you want, wherever you want, however you want. Face, voice, logo, Kengineer brand, all of that's included. That's part of a video or stream element. And that's a big fat no thank you. Because I can assure you they're not offering we own every detail rates.
Marines inbound.
So yeah.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
And I have done business with, well, I mean, you've seen sponsorships. I have done business where businesses have made acceptable requests and gone for acceptable licensing because it's actually very doable. But yeah. Dawn Machine saying, only stuff you have to pay money for are Prime Access and Regal Ire. And 08JUN, although on console I think you can do it with Platinum still, but for PC you can't. And you're very right, those are the only things you quote-unquote have to pay money for, but I feel like that muddies the waters a little bit as to where pay-to-win is measured. It's not so much on where you have to pay money, especially as cosmetics you don't actually have to pay for them because you don't need them. They're cosmetics. It's not so much a have to versus what is the difficulty, what is the jump in effort required, time required, or just barriers to entry for the free route versus the paid route. Yeah. Do I use any movement speed shards on my Lavos? I did on the old one, I think. Don't know if I still use them. I think I do. Nope, they're gone now. I don't use movement shards at the moment. Instead, I have a movement arcane agility. That's giving me plus 60% parkour velocity, and you can certainly feel it. You can certainly feel it. Don't be saying pay to win is kind of subjective when it's farmable, but the farmers are an acceptable time investment. Some okay throwers. Yeah, and that's it. It's not so much about whereas the subjective pay to win is there a paid for element which is superior to the base or free element? Is there an element which the least paying user will have a different experience to the paying user that is non-cosmetic? If it's cosmetic, I don't care, quite frankly, because it's cosmetic. If we only had access to base skins in Warframe and any kind of attachment, any kind of anything, even colouring them, if all of that was locked behind pay to win, it's still, let's say pay to win, behind microtransactions or macrotransactions, it still wouldn't change my enjoyment of the game itself. It would be lower to an extent. My Lavos wouldn't look like this, true. But it would not impact the gameplay. And very, 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 very few games will have paid cosmetics and not have at least some kind of free cosmetics or accessible cosmetics. Yeah. Don't be saying, well, Prime's better, can be bought, but I wouldn't call it pay to win because the farm is pretty trivial for a free live service game. Again, you're trying to label things as an either yes or no, and that's not the point. Yes or no binaries lose all of the context and ends up having people arguing over the binary. As a lot of people will point out very rapidly on this channel, and certainly very rapidly on this month, rigid binaries are not the smartest way to approach complex topics. As a surprise to virtually no one, rigid binaries are in fact a silly idea. They are. I do not fuss or obsess over pay to win, yes or no. It's, okay, is there a paid element that provides a non-cosmetic bonus?
Mission complete.
An optional paid element with a non-cosmetic bonus. That is pay for more. You meant to say exactly that? Pay to win is not on off per gradient? Okay. It's definitely not what you said, but fair enough. You very specifically pointed out something that is paid for. The pay route is a bonus over the free route, and then said it wasn't pay to win. It's whatever. You know what you said, and you know what you meant, and you know they were two separate things. It's fine. It happens. How many Velox Prime blueprints will I end up with? Honestly, no idea. I might end up with quite a few. Although as soon as it gets one relic below the next miso I own, I'm going to then end up alternating, because I'm always picking the one I have the most of. Or whichever one the game puts top left, which is most of.
Capture and extract our target. Watch out. I'm detecting void fissures nearby. Do you have a matching relic? We're near a fissure. Target located. Bring them in.
There we go. Got our target. Someone's saying it's pay to win, but there's no real competition between players, so it doesn't matter.
We'll interrogate the captain back at base. Your part is done here, Tenno.
No. No, I'm going to have to disagree on the definition you're implying there. The definition that so long as it's non-competitive, then paid boosts over... or optional paid boosts are acceptable. I don't agree with that definition. It's the definition you're implying with that statement, and that's why I'm challenging it. But yeah. Just because it's a non-competitive environment does not mean that a optional paid boost is one that would be acceptable to me. To give you an extreme example, imagine if it was, hey, you can access this new character. It is an entirely PvE game, you do not compete with players in any way whatsoever, there is no benefit for having access to the character quicker, other than you access it quicker. You can either buy it, or you can spend the next 25 hours farming it. When you take a argument to absurdity, that's when you verify if the argument is correct. And that one shows to me that not being competitive is insufficient. Like I say, it's a complex topic, and that's why I don't rule things out just for having a paid boost element. I want to know what that element is. Or elements plural, is it usually the case.
Another job well executed.
Am I cracking relics for fun, or is there a particular purpose? I'm cracking relics for fun. Straight up. I like cracking relics. I like having that repeatable gameplay loop that actually gives me something... well, something a little bit more valuable than fast hands redirection and 50 endo. If I were to do this mission without the prime part drop, the rest of this loot, or without those two drops, the rest of this loot is basically meaningless to me. Even at 50 endo every 2 minutes, multiply that up over the course of an hour, that is, what, 1,500 endo for an hour? That'd be pathetic. So yeah. Sounds like Diablo Immortal tried to sponsor. The 24-hour example doesn't fit. It's more like 150. Yuck. Ugh. That is horrible. Don't dim in a space. Ah, fun that. You put in a space and no relic goes, but no relic has a space in it. This affects no one. This doesn't even count as a bug. This is just the most odd of oddities. But adding a space to search just removes no relic. Huh. Alright, anyway. Yet another fun little distraction. Come just saying, I don't think the topic is complex. I think there are many people playing devil's advocate. No, the topic is complex. I disagree. The topic is not complicated. The topic is definitely complicated.
You must find, capture, and extract our target.
Carmagen, how much is too much
Use these to crack open.
for a affinity booster?
You found a fissure. Look out for reactive.
You need affinity to access mastery,
Capture them quickly before they
significant amounts of it.
The enemies are
And you need that mastery to access various different weapons, mods, unless you want to pay, and in some cases you still can't pay, you just have to get the mastery.
Stay focused.
This literally halves the time, so how much is too much for an affinity booster?
Indicate our target is in the vicinity. Find them.
Buying affinity booster is pay to win on principle? Okay. Now how much is too much?
The relic has been cracked open. Finish your mission to find out what's inside. Our target is
Or
dying.
let's go with...
Complete the capture before they
Let me think. Let's try and take a slightly different angle on this. Anything above 0 real world currency. So to you, pay to win is microtransaction. You're using the word pay to win and the word microtransaction to mean the exact same thing, Carmagen.
Excellent work. We'll interrogate the
Is that your assessment?
base. Your part is down here, Tenno. Heads
Just
up.
so I understand.
Your new assault team is headed your way.
The reason I'm calling out that in particular is because it's not a very common interpretation. It's certainly not one that is universally agreed upon, far from that, and therefore would make any conversation around pay to win a fraught one. Because if you're going into a conversation saying, oh yeah, no, that's pay to win, for any kind of microtransaction of a non-cosmetic nature, when other people are going, where's the win? It leads to a complicated argument.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
Kamjin confirming not all MTX, usually on the fence with cosmetics, but if it's something earnable, then it should be only earnable. Cosmetics can be earnable, and doesn't address the not cosmetic side of it. So there we are. So you've managed to now further expand the definition to if it can be earned, it should be only earned. And not sure I agree on that definition either, but you're welcome to your own. The problem is when it comes to actually trying to discuss it with other people. Miralabe, thank you very much for a bit of pay to win. What do we got here? We've got a 30-day resource booster. Miralabe, you only did this like a week ago. Look at the numbers on these. Oh no. Miralabe. Thank you very much for the affinity booster. And thank you very much for the credit booster. There we go. Thank you, Relic. You've re-upped me there. I am at nearly 2 months of them now. Much appreciated. Did you forget one? That's up to you to decide, Miralabe. But if you're asking, have I got one that's 30 days different from the rest? Yes, my resource booster. But I don't need one because it's still got 23 days on it, so we're fine. We're fine. I also say there should just not be a grind that makes you want to pay to skip it. Okay. On principle, that sounds agreeable. On principle. So, at what point do you determine that it makes any gamer want to skip it? Where are you drawing the line, Alsu? How many gamers do you count? Do you count the gamer that doesn't want to put in any effort at all if they can just pay to bypass it? They exist. You know they exist. Do you count the gamers that will put in no more than 1 minute, no matter what the action is? Do you count the gamers that will happily spend 500 hours to save $1? Like I said earlier, if you take into account the extremes, is the argument still solid?
Success. The captive is safely in our hands. Congratulations, Tenno.
So the principle that most people will find a way to agree with, that you were saying there, is, what was your phrase again? Should not be a grind that makes you want to pay to skip it. And most people, if not everyone, will be able to think of something at that point where they go, yeah, I wouldn't want to be forced into feel like paying is the only way because of But that is different for everyone. The value of X, where X is too much, will differ between infinities, basically.
That's it. You open the relic. Finish your mission and we'll take a look inside.
I look at some of the grind... Wait, how did I take such a wrong turn? What did I do here? Oh, is that turn? It's fine. It wasn't a bad turn. Yeah, when you look at some of the grinds that people seem to be capable of, that was a perfect spin down those stairs, by the way. You look at some of the grinds people are capable of, and then you look at some of the grinds that people will give up on, and there is absolutely no overlap.
Mission complete. Excellent.
Also say, as someone said above, it's a gradient. Don't think it's a hard line. Citrine grind is egregious, or Harrow Oberon. Okay. I also say, be some kind of reasonable benchmark. I mean, okay. Alright, this is where you're digging up now an old qualification, but sure, why not? Let's reference it. Simple reference of critical thinking. To analyze, break down the exact nature of the words and intentions be used by someone. Your definition is, you'd say some kind of reasonable benchmark that would not exceed the patience of 95% of players. So you're okay with 5% of people being upset. And you've also said reasonable benchmark. Reasonable benchmark is absolutely useless in this context. I'm very sorry to say. But the reason it's useless is because it begs itself its reasonability. You've couched your thrown out number. I'm not going to assume you put a lot of thought into it because it's not your job to really analyze it. But by couching it in, it's a reasonable benchmark, is saying it's a reasonable one just because. It'll be like someone marketing their game as only having honest microtransactions. What do they mean by honest? How do they get to define that it's honest? Yeah. I also say there'll always be some amount of players being upset. What are we okay with for a number? I think what we're not okay with is trying to nail it down to a number. So, again, Alsu, if we nail it down to a number, whether it's your number, my number, someone else's number, you've got some number that makes it reasonable. That's what we're saying. Or rather, that's what you're saying. That there can be a number at which point it is reasonable. And if it is beyond that number, then it is not reasonable. That is a binary. That is reducing it to yet another binary of good or bad. Because it's trying to measure it. That's exactly what I don't do when it comes to a company reaching out on any kind of, hey, we'd like you to talk about our product and whatnot. And I ask about paid elements. I'm not looking for a number. I'm not looking for a how reasonable is your paid for boosts. Yeah, Lotus drew another one of those laughing clowns. Yup. Ultimately, there's a lot of easy answers of things which just feel far too much. I think we can look at the old Ash grind, which was absolutely obnoxious. We can look at the Citrine grind, which the majority of people do seem to take some kind of umbrage with. Either giving up on the farm, or choosing to spend platinum, or ending up disliking the game but feeling compelled to do the farm anyway. But is that perhaps a measure of how unfun it is, rather than how long it is?
The enemy is broken. Well done. Now get to extraction.
Also saying, talking in terms of time spent to get X, what range of time spent acceptable experience for the target demographic? How else would you evaluate it? Open to ideas, but that's where my brain goes. Yeah, you're trying to narrow it down to, again, numerical measurable data, and I get that. It seems like a data-driven answer. I get it. But it's missing the entire nuance and context of it. I'll be quite honest with you.
Excellent work, Tenno.
There is no simple curve or line or equation that can be applied. There is no, this farm for this price, alternative skip, must therefore be no more than this time to appease this many people, or otherwise it is this problematic. It is one disgusting spread of a spectrum. And there are points where you can say it's too much. There are points where you could say it is super generous. There are points in between. And every single person on the planet will not only disagree on those points, but if asked twice, will probably give different points. Defaults say, I mean, I have a dumb example / comparison. If you play an MMO and you want to go play in a top tier raid or PvP setting, you will end up putting more time into trying to get the most optimized gear than what you would spend farming for any single item in Warframe, in their opinion. I suppose. I'm not sure how much of a comparison point that technically is, especially when you say most optimized, given a lot of MMOs end up going for hyperinflation of the effort required for the final percentage points. I get where you're coming from, yeah. The Warframe's longest grind for an individual item is shorter than the longest grinds in other games. I feel like that might be the extent of the comparison that can be made there. At least for a broad, nameless comparison. Also, Mythic Spirit, thank you very much for subscribing with your Prime, up onto 27 months, which is very much not a Prime number. It is, in fact, 3 cubed. But it's still a very lovely number. Thank you very much for continuing support, Mythic, and I hope you have yourself a good day. Exactly, Solomon. Yeah, Solomon is saying, how much time am I willing to devote to this, in quotes? Not only changes person to person, it changes wildly for the singular person at different times. So using it as a metric is pointless. Yeah. The amount of time that I will devote to something does vary massively, even for the exact same objective. Because it can be affected by my mood, it can be affected by meta elements, such as have I got friends with me, so on. Alright, take care, Aegir. You have yourself a good rest. There really is no simple metric when it comes to paid non-cosmetics. Sorry, optional paid non-cosmetics. That's the best way I can broadly capture it all. Optional as in you could play the game without them, so it's not a required purchase of the game or required DLC to access. Paid because obviously not free, and non-cosmetic because the cosmetic side of things, frankly, it is the most acceptable distinction between a less paying user and a more paying user. If we were to cut that one out, then everything becomes everyone has to pay the exact same amount to access the exact same game, and that led to its own issues in the past. Fair to also, yeah. Also saying they'll concede, the more they think about it, the more they have to factor in other variables. It is a very complicated topic. And that complicated topic is absolutely utilized by gaming companies. The larger they are, the more they lean into it, the more they research this very topic to try and find those lines, not to maximize nicety, but to maximize revenue.
Extract our target.
to maximize revenue.
Fissures in the area.
To see
Use these to crack open.
how many deals do they need to offer per period to keep people interested.
Defend yourself
What kind of promotion gets people most riled up for it? How often should they send out the reminder emails? How many free things should they give away? How should those free things be represented? Should those free things be hidden behind the shop interface, where you have to actually go to the shop and click buy for 0
interrogate the captive back at base.
to get someone used to the idea of going to the shop and buying it? There's so many different factors involved on the development side of those transactions
Near Marines.
to try and find that profitable balance. So this is why I want to say pay to win is complicated. It's because they make it complicated.
Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
My concern simply comes down to, can it be defined, can it be described in an individual setting so that it can be adequately assessed for my sensibilities? If a game wants me to talk about them, if they want to sponsor me, then I want to know that I can speak about what they do and have the informed position to respond to any challenges on that.
Another job well
Like if someone were to try and challenge me on promoting Warframe, they go, oh well, Warframe has pay to win. I know enough about it that I can challenge it. I can acknowledge, yes, there are paid boosts. Do they impact the gameplay? Yes. Do they impact it too much? No. Queries say fun is definitely a big factor in grinding. Hate missions that keep you in there for a set time, don't allow for speed up through improvements in efficiency, which why they refuse to do survivals, prefer defense, disruption, alchemy. Yep, fair do. Absolutely valid. That's entirely your decision to make on that. When it comes to games, they're supposed to be fun, after all. If you're playing a game and it's not fun, problem. Very simply, problem. Yeah.
We received intel that somebody vital to enemy operations is here. Find them and capture them.
All comes down to the person's individual choice at that point. What do you enjoy playing? Now, again, there are going to be some of those games which will try to
Target located.
carefully measure how much fun you get,
Excellent work. We'll
to try and make sure that things aren't too fun, lest you might not spend money.
You need more to open that relic.
Again, that comes into the game monetization cycle.
There's a heavy unit approaching.
And the smart consumer can spot those trends, spot those decisions, and choose for themselves if they wish to accept them.
That's it.
Like
You opened the relic.
the resource boosters in
Finish your
Warframe.
mission and we'll take a look inside. Watch yourself. Rainier,
They
I'm on the
could,
way.
if they wanted to, just double every resource drop and remove the boosters from the game, but we all know why they won't do that. So you have to decide for yourself how you feel about it. That is a very personal decision. Ta-da!
Another job well executed.
How my Void Tracer is doing? Nearly 1,000? In fact, no, that would have put me over 1,000. Alright, I'm going to invest those into some of these rarer relics. Does XP still split between yourself and your Sentinel? Your Sentinel should get XP separate from yourself when you get a kill. Or when there's global affinity, again, you get yours and the Sentinel gets theirs. But if the Sentinel gets the kill, you don't get the XP. May I ask how to build Gauss? I can't remember if I've done a Gauss guide at this point, I'll be quite honest with you. Genuinely can't remember. What's the fastest so far? In terms of relic crack, maybe like 1.5 minutes. Let's see. If I just search for Urani relics, let's see. Yep, that's got the the rare piece in it, so let's upgrade that one. I'm just going to dump my traces so I can burn up, get a whole bunch more safely. Because I will farm up hundreds without noticing if I'm not careful. There we go. Got about 1500 capacity available to me now. That should do for quite a few relics. Let's keep getting some more of these opened up. By saying something Genshin Impact. I've never played Genshin Impact. Never downloaded it, never opened it, never actually watched any gameplay of it. So I can't really weigh in on it specifically, no. I think I may have had... No, not sure. Hey, loot boxes, wouldn't recommend gacha games? Okay, yes, gacha games are just... Nah. I'll be honest, gacha games, I thought, when I first heard about them, I thought they were named ironically. I thought that wasn't their actual name. Because I didn't realize it was a non-English source name. The first time I heard gacha games, I thought the person speaking to me was saying gotcha. As in, haha, got you. Trapped. Tricked. Swindled. And to be honest, as they described the game to me, whichever one they're on about, I can't remember which one it was at the time, that feeling of gotcha never went away. That feeling of you've been had seemed to still be correct. It wasn't until later that I read the word gacha that I was like, oh, this is just what they call themselves. Wow, all right.
Excellent work, Tenno.
Yeah. Miles from to say, if you could change one thing right now in the game, I presume you mean Warframe, what would it be? Also, 1 minute 27. If I could change one thing, what would it be? Circuit rotation. The thing I would change would be the circuit rotation. Changing it away from, in the case of choose the frames, one of the 3 frames there. Or in the case of Steel Path, one of 5 incarnans. I would change it away from that to instead a more token-based system. I'd move it in that direction. When I started playing Warframe, the vast majority of everything, you could just go and farm. There were a couple things which you couldn't just farm. There were alerts you couldn't just farm. There was certain events that, well, simply weren't around at whatever time, like Plague Star needed to come back. And I have my own separate reservations there. Nitane Extracts. Nitane Extract is a slightly different example. Nitane Extract is farmable, but with absolutely abysmal rates, and so the classic way of farming it is not farming it, but getting it from a limited shop. That one's in a different area, which has its own issues, sure, but it's a manageable issue. You can't manage your way around the Steel Path circuit. I mean, just I'm going to take this moment to talk about it, because why not? So let's wiki circuit. The circuit, there we go. Rewards, Steel Path. Okay, so last week was Bratton, Ley, Toscana, Paris, Kunai. Okay. So if you want to have yourself the Paris Incarnate, and today is the first day you got access to this, and by the way, this is actually going to rotate around tomorrow, but sure. This is today, the first day you got access to it. You won't be able to do it next week, or the week after, or the week after, or the week after, or the week after, or the week after that. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 weeks of 1 day from now. will be the first time you'll be able to access it. 6 weeks and 1 day. Which, to be very clear on that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a day. That's July 21st. That doesn't sit well with me. And if for any reason you miss it that week, if for any reason life just takes priority, add another 8 weeks. That doesn't feel right to me in the slightest. I have my bugbears with the day-night cycle on Earth and the whole Eidolon hunting there, and those bugbears still exist. I have my bugbears with the lack of drop tables for Arcane Dissolution, or for the Duviri Undercroft portals. Did they ever get added, actually? It's been a while, but I'm going to double, triple check again. Drop tables. If I search for Longbow is one of the ones that comes from there, right? Yep, here we go. Longbow sharp shot. Nope, no drop table for it. No drop table. So, I have my bugbears in other places like those. You sure it's still a Duviri reward only? So it's Undercroft portals, right? Can also be obtained from there, just for an unknown amount of chance. I mean, if I take one of the other ones, Secondary Outburst. Let's see, so I've got a listing for Circuit, 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 Circuit. No listing for Undercroft portals. No listing. But still, my number one change would be the access of things which just keeps rotating out. Hell, I find it weird that Eleanor's shop is split into 2. It's only 4 days, so if what you want isn't there, on average you'll only be waiting 2 days, on average, for it to become available. But it's still weird that it got split. The circuit on weeks feels really wrong to me. Alright, is the purpose to get people to log in every single week? That's not player friendly. That's a Warframe thing. That's for Digital Extremes. That's not for the players. Is the purpose to otherwise put fewer options so as not to overwhelm people? Well, I mean, give them the tokens and let them be met with decision paralysis later. I also say I think it's a way to allow for Valence Fusion without just random rolling purchases over and over. Random rolling purchases. I'm not sure I understand what you mean. Like, they could have all of the weapons available, 1 per 4 days, and just restock every 4 days. Or hell, every 7, because then it would be a near weekly thing. If they wanted to slow down people's ability to farm the new content, which again is a choice in itself. But the fact that you can log in on the weekend and find out for the entire weekend that the weapon you want just isn't available, come back later. At least you only need to buy it. But it's still like, why is there a gap? Yeah. Do I think that crafting times are player friendly? It's a good question, Carmachin. It is a very good question. Especially as, go back to the earlier discussion of paid non-cosmetics, optional paid non-cosmetics. There is the optional paid non-cosmetic of rushing the crafting job. And I find myself torn on it. I do genuinely find myself torn on it. Because on the one hand, I could understand certainly a brand new player coming in, they're going, okay, I'm going to go build myself an Atlas or a Rhino or whichever freaking one they want to build. Just take an example and run with it in your head. Now, if I just go for that, sort by name. And then look at it, it's 72 hours to build. And I get it. That's frustrating for a lot of people. It's hard for me to look back at that now that I have it all, frankly. It is kind of hard for me to look back at that and have an objective view on it. But I will say that the crafting times, what few I interacted with when doing the Dan run, didn't feel like a problem. But at the same time, I wasn't hardcore playing Dan. But to be quite honest with you, the game's gotta make its money somewhere, somehow. This is the free route, and when you consider how easy many of these are to get, kind of wild. That people will look at it and then go, oh, this is horrible, how dare the game force me to wait. You can build any number of them, the game is still there, you can still play the game, and once it's built, you can just go and do it. Equinox is an extreme one, and that one definitely should be addressed. Also gives players a break after farming. So that's an arguable one. I mean, on the one hand, yes, it does, but also, like, they can still play the game is still there, so what break is it? It's just a break from getting what they wanted. This is one of those things which comes down to that psychology research that gaming companies, at least larger gaming companies, and certainly lots of mobile gaming companies, would do the research. You would expect that DE would be no different, that they would have researched this. At least modern DE would be researching, if not already researched it. I don't know about startup DE, because things were a little bit different then. But modern DE, you'd expect them to research it. You'd expect them to see what kind of time would be the best situated time to have for the health of the game. Whether the health of the game is measured by number of players or amount of income for DE, that's up to them to decide. And then up to us to choose how we approach that. But to be quite honest, it is absolutely astounding that Warframe is as freely accessible as it is. I went through the entire Dan series with the rule hovering, that I gave myself the rule hovering over me that I could sell commodities to other players for fair market price platinum in order to purchase slots, boosters, packs, whatever I needed to buy to make the run more doable. I had in mind, for example, the tome mods, which, to be honest, I never did get around to getting. I managed to get all the way to Steel Path and defeat the 60 Eyes boss on a 100% free-to-play account. So I then find myself wondering a little bit as to where lines can reasonably be drawn on that one when it comes to the crafting times. If it were a paid game, I would be aghast at the crafting times. If you had to pay to play Warframe, I would be aghast. To the point that there wouldn't have been a Kenshiro channel on Warframe. Simply wouldn't have happened. But Warframe's not a paid required game.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
In fact, there's not many limits on the free-to-play side of it. There are things which could be faster, hence the boosters. There are definitely the limits when it comes to Warframe and weapon slots. That is the biggest of them all, I'd say. Warframe and weapon slots are the single most required, not quite required, but close to required microtransaction in the game. Followed by potatoes. I won't include Former because you can wait on Former and you don't need to invest that heavily in Forma into items. You really don't.
You are surrounded by Grenier Marines.
But by and large, you can play a hell of a lot of this game absolutely free. It's no surprise to me that there are literal microtransactions in places and incentives to make those microtransactions happen. It almost becomes a question between playing... that's not a good example. I was gonna say between survival and creative Minecraft, but there is survival gameplay that creative doesn't have. But the point I was going for there is that in survival you are limited in the blocks you can access based on accessing them. Creative, you snap your fingers and there they are. And ultimately, that is the difference between free and pay to play for a lot of Warframe. Is going out and getting it, or snap your fingers, there you are. So yeah, Carmagin, good question on the whole, the crafting times. And to be honest, it's going to again be one of those spectrum situations. A crafting time doesn't take effort, it doesn't take work, it doesn't take input from a player.
You are here on a
So you
capture
can
mission.
literally
You must
just
find,
back off
capture,
and wait.
extract our target.
There are no limit on the number of things you can have crafting simultaneously, you just can't craft more than one of the same thing simultaneously.
You found
And again,
treasure.
that has
Look out
divided
for
opinions.
reactants. The corrupted enemies are
But,
dropping collected to open your void relic.
I don't see it really as that much of a problem,
You need more to
personally.
open that relic. You found a
But then I
target.
have always been a bit more of a patient
Before they
gamer.
escape.
I only limited your credits, which isn't a limit, because you can just
Heavy unit
farm
approaching.
credits. That's just gameplay.
Mission complete. The captain has been escorted to the extraction point. Well done.
Even if the crafting times are 1 second, you'd still have to farm credits. So, it's a slightly different aspect of it. Formal crafting can be forced login. Yeah. The formal crafting is definitely on the forced login side, because you can't queue them. And that's where it starts to get a little uglier again.
I'm detecting a large security
Because at that
force
point,
heading
it's not a
your way.
case of
It's the Grenier.
hurry up and wait. It's now a habit-forming design. That just... Yeah, it again changes the nature of why it's there. Fetch the apple. Is that the apple? That's the apple one. There we go.
Well done, Tenno. Your
It's similar in a way to how I run the plat raffle on this stream versus other kinds of giveaways I might do. When it comes to the plat raffle on this stream, because it's a singular plat raffle
another
of
job
75
well
platinum
executed.
going to one person out of all the tickets of entry, I don't require you to be here for any extended period of time on the stream, and I don't require you to be here at the point of the giveaway happening. Someone can very literally just come in, grab a ticket, and leave. Why don't I just automatically give you a ticket if you've ever grabbed a ticket before? You ever think about that question? If you've ever been to this stream before, why don't I just give you a ticket automatically? Is it okay if you just don't want a ticket? Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to claim a ticket. If you don't want a ticket, you don't want the chance to win it. That's fine. Most people don't grab a ticket. Fun fact. Like, the vast majority of people who tune in don't grab a ticket. Vast majority. But for those who do claim a ticket, why don't I give you a ticket forever once you claim your first one? And as Smithy says, it's to encourage people to show up. Yeah, okay. So why doesn't Warframe let you queue the formers? I'm doing the exact same thing as Warframe there. It's the exact same thing.
We received
For a
intel that
Warframe
somebody
former,
vital to
you
enemy
have to log in,
operations is here.
click it,
And capture them.
and then you're good. You can go away again.
I'm detecting void
For a
fissures
chance to win the
nearby.
plat raffle,
Do you
you have to tune in, type it, and then that's it, you're done now.
fissure?
It's the exact same process, except in my case, you're not even guaranteed to get something from it.
You need more to open that relic.
You are fighting against the odds of how many other people are also choosing to do that same thing.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. We cannot let our target know we're here. Track them down quickly. Success. The captive is
Ken streams are pay to win, you can get rid of ads of money. Alright. That is certainly one of the takes of all time. What do I call this? Macro engagement? Habit forming. For people who want the free stuff, or like the idea of free stuff, or like the idea of a giveaway, it's habit forming. You get used to the idea of popping in and grabbing the ticket. That if you don't remember the stream itself necessarily, the reward part of your brain still remembers the ticket. It's habit forming. I know that sounds very callous and calculated there, but I'm looking at this from a very, well, calculated viewpoint at the moment. The actual inspiration behind doing it that way is just sort of, I've got this giveaway I can do, let's give it away to people like this. This is the simplest and easiest way of doing it that's still somewhat fair and engaging. Why not? Job done. But as to the value behind it, yeah.
Heads up. A Grenier
It's
assault
habit
team
forming.
is headed our way.
Get you used to the ticket. Why not?
Excellent work, Tenno.
Most of, if you think about it, a giveaway is almost never done just for the sake of a giveaway. It just isn't. Why would someone run a giveaway just to give things away? It basically doesn't happen. It'll either be as a thanks for something, in which case the reason happened first, lucky them, and so they are giving back. But even then, if there's any name, any purpose attached to it, it still reinforces the cycle. It's still
Here to find our target and bring them
a
to the
positive reward to
extraction
them as
point.
well.
Happy hunting.
When it comes to
Detecting void fissures
companies, when it
nearby.
comes to streamers,
The matching relic.
as Dovami says, it is
Found a fissure.
marketing.
Look out for reactant. You found a target.
It gets you more engaged.
Before they escape.
It gets you to remember the name,
Open a relic. The reactant is
because
working
brand
on
awareness is also a valuable bit of marketing, so on.
Stay
It's all a
focused.
thing, really.
There's a
It's
heavy unit
all
approaching.
marketing, psychology, ways to add on to the experience beyond the experience.
The extraction point. Well done.
Simple as that. Do kills caused by Zarta's Whisper count as Warframe ability kills or as weapon kills? I believe they should count as weapon kills, but I haven't double checked, Alsu. That is a very specific thing to test, and I leave that as a exercise for the viewer. But I would imagine it's weapon based,
The relic.
because the extra hit is triggered from the weapon.
What's inside.
Even though it's the ability making it happen, it's scaled from the weapon, it happens with the weapon. In my assessment. How much is the crafting time on a habit former? Well, when you think about it, Carmagin, it's roughly 3 to 4 days. That's the crafting time, because I run 2 plat giveaways a week. One on a Sunday, one on a Wednesday.
Greens.
Why do I stream at a scheduled time each week? 3 times a week, at that scheduled time. Near enough without fail. Just a couple streams here or there taken out for internet down, power issues, moving house. Outside of that, I keep that schedule week after week after week. because then you know when it's going to happen.
Mission complete.
Both consciously and unconsciously, you know it's going to happen. You can get excited for it. You can get prepared for it. Giant spider on the keyboard. No, I think I'm fine there. That's just my hand. Inbox message. What have we got here? We have got, thank you for your login today. It's a 10 Omni. Oh my god. Mirror, I've not gone through the previous batch. Good fucking god, Mirror 30 Omni Formlers. And of course, the first question from someone is, how much plat is that? Wow, Mythic. Wow. Bet everyone's friends with you at Christmas. Really, thank you very much on that. I have, I don't know how far down it was, the previous one from you. We can just see how much your name pops up. That. Just scrolling there says it all. Thank you, Mirror. But seriously, how many Omnis am I on now? By polarization 62. 62 Omniformers. Oh boy. You just know if Mirror could find a way to gift me Umbrals, Mirror would. Was Ken's top donor. I mean, if you scroll down below the stream, for those of you on PC especially, you can see the panels, and that includes the tip panel for who has tipped the most. That is an all-time measure. I update it after every single stream where a tip happens. Exclamation mark tip if you want to change that board. But yeah, Mirror is literally there as well. Mirror would mail me real physical form if it was possible. You're probably not wrong there, Ladybug.
You are here on a capture mission. You must find.
It's also Mirror. Yeah. It is also Mirror.
You need them to open a relic, but are you confident you can withstand their fury? A fissure.
In ye olden times, Mirror would have been a patron.
Found a target. Capture them quickly before they escape.
In these curious times, Mirror is instead a patron on Patreon as well, I think. So, the world cometh full circle.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
I wonder if I should just change the tip sound to that. Stay focused, a heavy unit is approaching. Nah, we've got the other Velotus line, it's better. I should do a stream and just reform everything with the Omniformer. Ugh. First of all, what a waste of Omniformer. Second of all, a stream of just formering stuff? Do you want me to burn out? Damn it, I missed that. There we are.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
They were saying, not my dumbass trying to scroll down to the leaderboard on mod view. Yeah, it doesn't quite work the same there. Doesn't quite work the same. You see, Captain Ravioli, no. Mirror won't head to the post office to mail me some Platinum The Element, IRL, because we all know from Warframe TOS and just Warframe policies in general that gifting a whole bunch of Platinum to someone without something in return can lead to you getting banned. So yeah, Mirror will not post me Platinum. Mirror would not want to risk being banned from Canada.
You are here on a capture mission.
They would say, love that the leaderboard's a secret one on there. Very secret. I mean, if someone's going to tip under the secret one, then that's what they're going to get marked as. Yeah.
Fisher, defend yourself and use reactive to open relics. Target located.
I can send back a fish. Okay, now there are other problems that come in there. Sending a fish to Mirrorlabe. I know that Mirrorlabe is not in my country. I will not go into any further detail on that, but suffice to say, now that's going to create yet more problems.
Scans indicate our target is in the vicinity. Find them.
That would at that point be a business sending fish overseas. And I don't want to even begin to try and figure out what I would need to deal with on that.
Captive is safely in our hands. Congratulations, Tenno.
Plus no. The idea itself is a red herring. Oh dear. Carmagin. No, no, don't do that. Don't do that. We had the Badger Extreme recently, okay? You missed it.
Relic has been cracked open. Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
Another pun? How humid of you.
Thanks, Ordis. Cheers, Mythic. Yeah.
Heads up. A Grenier assault team is headed your way.
No! Bloody... That was not a Grenier assault team, that was a freaking nullifier. Lotus could have warned me about the nullifier. There we are, we're fine.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
Milo was saying, nearly finished all Warframes of all slots formed. Every free capacity gives you 5 starting energy. Love Omniformer. Oh dear God, Mirrorlade, that... Wow. Wow. That is quite something. Any idea how to get out of the outside of a map? Wait, out of the outside? So you want to get back inside the map, Bear Shark. In-game, you type /unstuck and then send that. If that doesn't work, retrace your steps. But yeah, /unstuck should do the trick for you. Melee, a crypto billionaire? Who's to say, honestly? Who's to say?
We received
I'd certainly not looking
vital
that
to enemy
gift horse in the mouth, as it were.
Find them and capture them.
Whether Mirrorlade is a crypto billionaire
Open a relic, but are
just
you confident you can withstand
working
their fury?
very hard at a restaurant, or maybe Mirrorlade is actually descended from Elon Musk himself somehow.
Use it to crack open a relic.
Just pocketing the money from that guy. I don't know. Not my particular concern, and certainly not a concern that I would speculate too far on stream, because that gets into the realms of doxing.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
All I know
Excellent.
is that we appreciate Mirrorlade.
Interrogate the captive back at base. Your part is done here, Tenno.
Mirrorlade's Bruce Wayne? Maybe. Maybe Mirrorlade is in fact Batman of some location. We just don't know about it because, well, Mirrorlade's that good. Not even the news finds out.
Marines inbound.
Reverse Clark Kent. Rather than reporting on the news undercover, Mirrorlade undercover gets rid of the news of Mirrorlade. In fact, we could go so far as to say that
Finish your mission.
when Chuck Norris needs help, he calls on Mirrorlade. This is how much of a Mirrorlade is. That was a very unfortunate dash. I thought I'd drop more than that, and instead I just dashed straight into the railing.
Great work. I am pleased with your
Imagine if Batman had a favourite Twitch streamer or something. There are so many jokes there, and I'm not going to touch any of those. It'll be for the best. You think I'll be related to muskrats to have a lot of disposable income, luckily? Yeah, true. It would be deeply concerning if somehow everyone who was a high contributor to Twitch streams happened to somehow be just related to an unethical billionaire. I say that like there's ethical ones. That's political. Yeah.
You are here to find our target and bring them to the extraction point. Happy hunting.
You're not a fan of levels after taking them to level cap? Fair enough.
To crack open a relic.
I'm not a fan of level cap after taking them to levels, I guess.
Found a fissure. Look out for reactant.
There's
Corrupted foes are dropping reactant.
strongest scorpion.
Use it to crack open a relic. The reactant is working on your relic. Find more.
Here's a replace the Discord. You can share the video of what happened in game that pushed you out of the map. It's from game bugging that I'm trying to. If you're looking for ways to turn it into a report to submit it to DE, then that would be the Bug Crackers channel. But if you're just showing it off for the sake of showing it off, I guess memes.
There's a heavy unit approaching.
Bug Crackers is for understanding the bugs to report. Memes is for, hey, look at this silly thing.
The relic has been cracked open. Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
Hello there, Raptor. Welcome on in.
You are surrounded by Grenier Marines.
You put it in both just in case it can be fixed. No, please make a choice there, Bear Shark. Are you looking to submit a bug report? You yourself personally looking to submit a bug report? If so,
I am pleased with your performance.
follow the steps that are in the Bug Crackers channel. If you're just showing the bug and putting it in the air that someone else might do something about it, it doesn't go in Bug Crackers. Bug Crackers isn't a, hey, look at this bug channel. No. Did I figure out the compressor radial status chance? It appears to be 120% on the radial explosion, indicating that it never actually got buffed from the normal variant, which is also 120% because it is also bugged. It appears that DE copied over that bug, and that indicates various things on the back end as to how they actually code their weapons.
You are here on a capture mission. You must find,
Yeah.
capture,
When it
and
comes to
extract
the Bug Crackers channel on the Discord, the only reason that was made was to help people kind of collate what's going on with the bug to allow them to submit a better bug report.
Defend yourself and use
That was it.
to open relics.
It's not a showcase, and it's certainly not an exploit zone.
Keep fighting. Look for more reactant. You found
Yeah, say for example, if you like,
capture them
I think something's wrong with the compressor status chance. What's going on with this? Because it says 30%, but I landed more than one proc at once. Could someone help?
focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
And posted with the intent of turning that into a bug report. Then yeah, sure.
Congratulations,
That's what it's there for.
Tenno.
Okay, Bear Shark, that's fine. And yeah, you didn't know, but that's why channels have information on them as to what they're for. If you're new to a channel on a Discord, check for pinned comments. Or check the detail of the channel. Usually, when someone sets up a channel for a specific purpose, they'll explain the purpose.
Open your relic.
So just in general, or any channel for that matter, here, just generally, just check the channel itself. But there's nothing wrong with not knowing, because, well, you're not born with the knowledge. Nothing to apologise for there. Let's, oh, bloody box. I knew that box was there, still did the dash into it. Like a dum-dum. There we are.
Great work. I am pleased with
Am I just cracking relics for the pure hell of it? Yeah, pretty much. I'm cracking as many relics as I can. Because I can. Born with the ability to hold your own weight, though. True, people do lose that one, but true. Yeah, you are born with that. A very important survival trait. Because Tenocon? I suppose, yeah. Yeah, I could turn it all into ducats and then go to the Barrow Katia relay and be like, yo, Barrow, give everything. fun fact, I did check into this the other day. I actually have enough items to turn into ducats that I could nearly buy one of every single primed mod he stocks. Twice over.
Target located.
I'm just a little bit short on buying them all twice over.
A Fisher. Defend yourself and use reactant to open relics. The enemies
That would
are
be a lot.
dropping reactant. Keep fighting.
Even Prime Chamber? Okay.
Excellent work.
Primed mods that are primed mods. Actually, well, I don't know if the wiki page included Prime Chamber. I'm assuming it didn't, because Prime Chamber is not a primed mod. I'm assuming.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit.
But I didn't thoroughly check the wiki page out on that. How many ducats is that? A bunch. I'd have to open up the post I typed it into, which I can do shortly after this mission, if I remember.
Well done, Helen. Your relic is opened.
Dodge under that. Refresh on this. Go for another dash, and with the exit. Using those refreshes as quick as I can. Alright, let's see. How many ducats did I say I had the other day? This was a long conversation. Come on, I know I put the number down in this one somewhere. Here it is. I had 32,000 ducats worth of prime parts lying around. 32,000 ducats worth. So yeah, just a couple. And now I'm picking up a few more. On the one hand, 32,000 sounds like a lot.
You must find
And the truth is, it is. But yeah,
Fishers. You need them to open a relic. But
I think you get, well, I think I measured it as like, from a typical public fisher, an average of like 40 ducats per run? Somewhere in that ballpark?
mission complete.
Because you got the silver rewards, which are 45s.
Extraction point.
You got the gold rewards, which are 100s, but then you might get nothing but bronzes to pick from. Bronzes are 15.
We're going to need
There are some silvers which are worth less than 45, rarely some which are worth more. And then there's also formers that kind of dilute the pool.
there's a heavy unit approaching.
So it'd be 50 relic runs. Sorry, no, 25 for 1,000. Yo, Tycanthropy, thank you very much for the 5 gifted subs out to the community here. Much appreciated. And I hope you're having yourself a wonderful day. Much, much, much appreciated. When it comes to 32,000 then, if we say 40 ducats per run, 25 runs per 1,000, it's 32 by 25. Oops, I just hit this fork off the table. 800 relics worth of public fishers. More on solo fishers. Because solos you get a low average reward.
Another job well executed.
True, yeah, there are also golds less than 100. You're very right on that. Tyken, thank you very much for the gift subs. That's going out to Amit Kagate 006, Domidzi, to Zip is Her, to Rolaf's Tavern, and to Avgard. Cheers, Tyken. Okay, full? Yeah, I mean, it's... There we are. I'll put that in the kitchen later. I had food just before stream, so I didn't fully clean up. My bad. I don't usually cause that such a mess. Is there a site to quickly check what prime parts are currently good for ducats? How do you mean good for? Because the prices are shown on them in-game. If you're meaning which ones are good in terms of their platinum value, then yes. You can use... In fact, do they have it on Warframe Market itself? I think they do have a Ducanator on there. Yep. If you're looking plat to ducat exchange rate, that link right there, Warframe Market Tools ducats. The Ducanator, as they call it, helps you out on that. With any such automated tool for estimating equivalent prices, by discretion it is advised, as there may be details beyond what the averages show. And the bronzes are 25? True. Yeah, so if a reward is both bronze and silver, depending on the relic, it is a 25 in all relics that it appears in. Because it's the item that gets valued at 25, not the drop. So wherever you get the drop from, it's a 25. Do you do it that way so that it kind of averages out? You don't end up with a bronze worth loads, but you also don't end up with a silver worth only bronze, do you? It's certainly an interesting choice from that perspective that they do that. You want to get 100,000 ducats before Telecom Barrow? Farming it? Do you intend to farm your way there? Let's be very clear on this, Barker. Because going again with that roughly 40 ducats per fisher, public, 100,000 would be 2,500 fishers, which even if you do them 3 minutes per fisher, public again, 3 minutes per fisher, 2,500. That I have got to do numbers again. Oh, that's only 125 hours. Yeah, just do 125 hours of grinding. That's healthy. I'd like to point out this is recommended by no one. Just to be clear. What would you do with 100,000 ducats? Because the bulk exchange rate, I think at best is around, what, 10 ducats per plat? At best? So that would be 10,000 platinum worth of ducats. What do you need that for?
Another job well executed.
Not to mention the amount of time taken to trade all that. If we're saying 2,500 relic fishers, let's say 10% of those are formers, so 2,250 items, 6 items per trade, that's 375 trades! Ugh. Ugh. That's saying 10% former. Hopefully be a bit lower than that, to be honest. Yeah. Exchange rate improves a week before TennoCon. True, there is that, yeah. So you could probably get that 10,000 more reliably, because I'm saying best case. Yeah.
You are here to find our target and bring them to the extraction point. Happy hunting.
I just hope you really, really enjoy Relic Fishers at that point. Like, really enjoy. Like, the only thing you enjoy Warframe at that point.
A fisher. Defend yourself and use reactor.
That is more time, twice over, than what Dan spent in missions to defeat the 60 Eyes boss from starting a new account.
You found a target. Capture them quickly before they escape.
I'm fairly certain Dan did that in under 60 hours in game.
Stay focused. There's a heavy
People keep telling you Banshee 1 can one-shot, you're trying everything but it does not work. You should probably speak to the people who are telling you that and ask for their exact build and method. And video demonstration. I can't help you on the quote-unquote people. I literally can never help on quote-unquote people. People. Not even once.
mission to find out what's inside.
Also, super dashes. That might have been the best set of rooms for super dashing. Oh, the sheer range on it. It's beautiful. I need some more enemies. There.
Marines inbound.
And I can go straight into another one. Oh, it's beautiful. Look at that. That might actually be a textbook example of how to Lavos dash. Oh, that was gorgeous. It was only a 1 minute 33. It's not a particularly fast run, but oh, that just felt good. And hey, 45 ducat Carius Prime Link. Slowly burning down some of these relics. I have no idea how many I've gone through. I think one of them was started at 91. Another one, next one down was 81. So if I'm on 74 stacks now, that's 17 off one stack, 7 off another, small amounts of the others still. I've gone through maybe 30 relics.
Watch out. I'm detecting void fissures nearby. Do you have
It feels like I've gone through about 30.
You found a fissure. Look out for reactants. They're dropping reactants.
And we were talking about someone who wanted to go through 2,500.
You are going to need a reactant if you want to open that relic. You found a target. Capture them.
That's 2,500 at public rates.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. Success. The captive is safely in our hands.
You're already at 50k though? Oh, okay, so you're halfway there. Excellent. How long has that taken you, Barker? Did it take you about 60 hours? Or would you rather not keep track? Come on, reactant. Thank you.
That's it. You opened the relic. Finish your mission.
You've no
and
clue.
take
Fair
over
enough.
inside.
For sanity's sake, that is probably the best. But if you did feel like tracking how much time you're spending on it, I'm sure others would be interested to have empirical evidence as to how long it takes to get another 50k. Shit, you could probably turn that into a video. A cautioning tale. 50,000 ducats. Was it worth it? The video would either be 49 minutes long as you go through every possible thought that crosses your mind, or it would be 4 seconds long of just going, yeah, I farmed 50k ducats. No, not worth. End video. Now, as long as you're having fun and doing it in a reasonable and healthy manner, go for it. If you're spending more than 4 hours a week gaming, then it might be a bit much. I can't. There are people that actually recommend keeping gaming below 4 hours a week. I wonder what they do in their lives, that their hobbies are so minuscule. Isn't farming 50k ducats just a $2 an hour job? Worse, it's a $0 hour per job.
You are
Hour per
here
job?
on a capture
Per hour
mission.
job, because you can't sell them.
Capture and extract our target. Void fissures.
Not without
Open a relic.
causing some very serious problems, which we do not take kindly to here.
A fissure. Defend yourself and use reactant to open relics. Target located.
Probably golf, says Bite. No. If someone's judging spending 4 hours a week on video gaming and their hobby is golf, they ain't judging, they're just stupid.
Use it to crack open.
Golf is not a quick pastime.
Reactant is working on your relic. Find more.
And dare say less productive than gaming.
Stay focused.
Not counting
There's a
any
heavy unit approaching.
weird business deals that happen during a golf session. My favourite one when it comes to judgment of hobbies like gaming is if someone judges it and says you should read instead. Now, don't get me wrong, a vocabulary, definitely a good thing to have. And if you're reading books which enhance your vocabulary, then cool. There is nothing inherently wrong with being an avid reader.
That's it. You
But don't tell me that sitting down,
take a look.
looking at a book for hours on end, or multiple books if you're fast at reading and they're short books, don't tell me that being sat down silently reading is somehow superior to gaming. Doesn't have to be inferior. For the love of God, don't try and tell me it's superior.
Great work. I am pleased.
I just don't buy it. Novels are just old TV? Sure. And yeah, I mean, if someone is reading up on non-fiction, sure. There is potentially an argument to be had there, but the question is, are they reading or are they studying? The difference there is that if someone is studying, then they're actually doing it in pursuit of another hobby. The reading isn't the hobby itself. Say if they are studying up on botany. They're wanting to do more with their plants. Because it's reading with a purpose. Reading with a goal that is not for reading's sake. At that point, the hobby isn't reading. Reading's just part of it. But if someone were just, say, reading through non-fiction books for the sake of reading through non-fiction books, that it was not connected to anything else other than curiosity, that's just entertainment. I'll be quite honest with you, that is just entertainment at that point.
The capture target has vital information that we will need to extract. We need our subject brought back alive.
Nothing, again, inherently wrong with wanting to entertain oneself by learning about curious topics, but if it's completely unapplied, it is solely for entertainment purposes.
Excellent work. We'll interrogate the captive back at base. Your part is done here, Tenno.
Need one more reactant. There it is. Alright, let's get out.
The relic has been cracked open. Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
Didn't mean electrical lab, but sure, it's fine. Hui.
I'm detecting a large security force heading your way. It's the Grenier.
That's still such a basic voice line after all this time. It's the Grenier? Oh, Lotus.
Mission complete. Excellent work, Tenno.
Reading complete, say, actively enjoying a narrative is all equal. Say, the only one that isn't is TV because that's not active. Isn't it? Isn't it reading complete? I can certainly draw a difference between people who sit watching TV, actively watching it, and people... I'm just... Huh? What? Oh, sorry, what did I miss? Who's that? What's happening? This plot's confusing. Yeah, there is a difference. And, oh boy, that second group really infuriate me. If you can't even just watch the show that's supposed to be the filler of fillers. Aren't I supposed to call it telly? I can refer to it how I like.
You are here to find our target and bring them to the extraction point.
This monkey doth not dance at your behest.
Watch out. I'm detecting void
Over your
fissures nearby.
curious
Do you have
beliefs
a
as to
magic
British
relic?
society. I can
Official,
refer to it as a TV.
defend yourself and use reactant to open relics.
Or a
You're dropping
box.
reactant. Use it to crack open a relic.
You know, so someone who keeps scrolling their phone during movies and asking questions? Yep.
You found
I have actually given up
before they escape.
trying to introduce my parents to new films and shows.
Stay focused.
Because if they're
There's
not
a heavy unit
immediately
approaching.
fully invested, if they haven't decided for themselves that they are going to watch it, they will scroll Facebook, or scroll Instagram, or they'll mess around on some drawing program, and then some noise or some flash on the screen will happen, indicating something climactic is happening, and now they have absolutely no idea what's going on. And they'll be, it didn't really interest me, I wasn't following it. It's like, I know you weren't following it, you didn't try to.
Inbound.
Sorry, I stopped. The point I gave up with them on that was when I tried getting them to watch even one episode of Arcane. And I can tell you, they already wrote it off because it wasn't live actors. It was animated. And therefore was lower value. And therefore didn't need full attention. and then was confusing because they don't know anything about what's happening because, well, they didn't know. I just gave up. Never brought it up again. It's no point. It's not just animations, but that is the worst one for them, I'll be honest. Love them to bits, but that is one of their particular flaws. Ellie saying, I have a friend who apparently loves to watch movies. Recently learned they can't keep attention when watching without being on a phone during it. Yeah. It's kind of sad when you think about it, the whole animation side. If someone sees an animation of any kind and just rates it lower, it's like, you're missing so much. And yet, I can guarantee you, the vast majority of people who rate animation as lower than live action TV, the vast majority of those people would rate theatre higher than animation. Pretty much a guarantee. Of the Venn diagram of those that put more value into theatre and less value into animation, it's a circle. And yet theatre has lots of things missing from TV too. Theatre requires yet more theatre of the mind to appreciate it. It's not going to be a highly edited, real-life interpretation of the medium they're engaging with. Reed saying they rate animation superior to live action. Well, that's certainly a choice. It's just medium. It's just a medium. Like a radio show, like a podcast, like a live stream. It's just another medium for delivery of content. And the content will be shaped to that medium. Animation allows you to do things that cannot be done with live action. Straight up. And sometimes those choices can add to it, sometimes those choices can take away from it, much like with live action.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching. Excellent work.
A example for me where animation takes away by using the tools of animation is when an animation intentionally switches to a goofier, chibi style for a bit. If it's something that's been serious and sensible for over half of the runtime, and then it just goes, chibi moment. Don't cheapen yourself like that, you can be better. That's a cheap gag, and it's not one that works for me, but that's a preference. But to write off animation, to not even look at something properly, because it's animated, is doing oneself a disservice to just miss out on what can actually be. Have I seen a live action of One Piece? I haven't seen One Piece. Period. I've seen clips and snips and that's it.
Another job well executed.
Yeah. Commentary saying, can't I agree with you except for Slayer's next Slayer's try. I have no idea what that is, sorry. But it sounds like you're referencing a particular thing that did something either good or bad, and I literally can't tell right now. Yeah. Next is saying, prefer realistic live action and colourful and imaginative animation. Fair enough, yeah. I mean, that's kind of the better parts of said media, is that live action looks better when it tries to be realistic, and animation can look better when it tries to be, well, an animation. Utilize the benefits of the medium.
Do you have a matching relic?
That's just how it works. If someone tries to make an oil painting look like a chalk drawing on a pavement, aside from congratulations, you've got the skill of making a watercolor look like a chalk drawing, it's doing it wrong. It's missing out on the benefits of the medium. Because a watercolor can be so much else than trying to replicate another medium. And it's the same when it comes to different types of video shows. Fair enough, Carmchin, fair enough. Yeah, there are going to be examples of chibier moments in animation, of the animation style becoming far less serious for a gag or a bit or a moment. Sure, it can work. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm saying it's a personal bugbear when it is frequently utilized to cheapen the moments or create moments that lose me. And again, it's nuance. Same as we've had as a theme throughout the last 2 hours. There is nuance. It's not a yes-no. Lady was saying, I think perhaps the only time I preferred the live action over the drawn was Major Grom. Fair enough. If I had to throw one out there in terms of drawn versus live action, which has got a lot of people happy for the live action, Marvel's Avengers. If we take the group... Oh, it's just putting me on a normal mission now. If we take the group of people that have enjoyed Marvel Avengers films, and we take the group of people that have enjoyed Marvel Avengers comics, at a guess, I'm going to guess that the films win. Just on pure numbers. Only metric I'm using there, just on pure numbers. And it's not like the comics are inaccessible. They are there. That capture hath finally closed. Let's instead switch my attention over to... I don't want to stick with the Miso Relics, to be honest with you. So let's see if I have a good one over here. I mean, there's a Miso Rescue. Miso Sabotage Saturn. Should rescue one. I'm going to stick with the Miso just so I can keep on burning down this same number. Too slow to equip that. Now what?
Your enemies have grown fierce. Use all that you have
We
learned.
finally have a change of map.
Watch out. I'm detecting void fissures nearby.
Now, I can't just speed through this.
Relic.
I do still need to kill them. This is Steel Path. I don't think I've brought the right build for Steel Path. Oopsies. Forgot about that little detail. Can't just use the same old Blapper 9000 max area style. Let's resolve that. Let's go for... I don't really use a Latron that much. Let's use Latron. I'll put it alongside Glaive. Equip this up with Glass Prime, and we'll be good. There we are.
I always forget to resub until I start getting ads. Only good things ads, so remind me to give you money.
Fair do, I suppose. If we look at it as an advert for supporting me, I will take that. All the same, reading complete. Thank you very much for dropping your Prime here. Once again, up onto 17 months. Much appreciated. Oh. Cheers indeed.
Your weapons make music, and the enemy calls for a song.
Hey enemy, you want a song?
Void fissures. You need them to open a relic. But
Here
only
is your
you
song.
can withstand their fury.
Song go burr.
We're near a fissure. The enemies are dropping reactant. The reactant is working on your relic.
Yeah, this is a beautiful weapon. Point at floor, things go burr. Actually, things go burn.
Stay focused.
To be a little more accurate.
Approaching.
I wonder if I can get through the rest of this mission without using the rest of my Incarnate Charge. I mean, theoretically, I'm already at 8 reactant. Yep, there is reactants required.
Open the relic. Finish
So
your
now I
mission
just
and
need
take
to
them inside.
spend less than 15 shots to finish the mission. I mean, that should be doable.
You are approaching the holding area. Careful.
kind of a
If the
bonkers
void
thing
is
to say,
detected, they will surely initiate the
but I believe it.
execution sequence. Tenno, get ready. A prosecutor is approaching. Heads up, a Grenier assault team is headed your way.
There we go,
This is
got the
jail. Our
objective.
hostage is in one of these cells.
I'm going to be burning up a few ciphers on this.
You've located the hostage. Escort the prisoner to the extraction point, and I'll take care
Let me
of
through
the
it, let me through it,
rest.
let me through it.
Don't suppose you have an extra gun?
Nope, sorry. All out of guns. I literally don't have an extra one equipped right now. And out with 9 shots to spare.
As you conquer the foe,
Yup.
so you conquer yourself.
Like I say, I think doing 100 relics per day is a doable amount. I mean, 100 relics per day, sure, it's doable. In that it's basically a full-time job. It's near enough a full-time job there. If you do a relic every 2 minutes, that's still 200 minutes, and that's a very fast rate, by the way. That'll be solo as well, because you're not doing a relic every 2 minutes in a group. A relic every 2 minutes solo will be 200 minutes of relic cracking there, which is just over 3 hours. If you're doing it in a group, you're probably going to be up to 3 minutes for your average rate, which will make that 5 hours per day.
With true mastery of the Tenno arsenal, will you succeed?
Watch out. I'm detecting void
They are.
fissures
It's
nearby.
doable.
Have a matching relic.
Would I recommend it in the slightest? Like
We're
hell.
near a fissure. The enemies are dropping reactant. The reactant is working on your relic. Find more.
See what works best for you, Barker. But, yeah. Just make sure you're healthy about it.
Stay focused.
Health
There's a
is
heavy
definitely
unit
number 1
approaching.
on that.
We can't leave without rescuing the prisoner. Keep searching.
Gib reactant plus gib 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 gib. I very unkindly request all of your reactant. Bollocks. I fell without falling. How did I get myself in here? Ugh. Oh, and that's an out of bounds box. Right, okay. Sure, thanks game. I appear to be going through a lot more shots than previously. Yep, I'm down to 5, 4 shots, 3, 2, and I've got the crack.
Relic has been cracked open. Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
Go for the exit. Well, not exit, entrance.
If the wardens detect you, they will surely initiate the execution sequence. Watch yourself. Grenier are on the way.
Yes, I used my ability to open that. Oh, take a shot here. Actually, just 5-0. Solid.
Will be in one of these cells. Search them.
Got it! Damn it, wrong one. This is why I'm just going to cipher it.
I'm in your debt, Tenno. Let's go home.
That pops all the arc traps.
To bring the captive
And out we go.
Protect them at all costs.
Come on, get up over the fence. Come on, I can squeeze through. I can... Ah, shoot. There we are. Wanna go this way. Straight into nullifier. Sad times. Oh, lockdown? Shoot. That is a problem. Where's lockdown panel? Lockdown panel down here. Crack that. Back out we go. There's my exit. Phew.
As you conquer the foe, so
I just didn't want to fire another
conquer
shot.
yourself.
Reed saying, don't know how I didn't burn out my first year. Got enough Prime Pass for Telecon ticket, Prime mods and weapons. Never have to buy a Virtual ticket again. Fair enough. It's a lot of Prime parts. It depends on how long you're farming for. It really does depend. If I go to Wiki and I search up ducat real quick, does the Wiki have how many ducats needed for everything? I wonder. Not that easily, no. What if I go to Barrow-Katia? Would that give me cost of everything? Ducats prices page. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. No. Doesn't look like there's a good, quick thing for that. Oh well. The Tucky bumps? I'd imagine it would, yeah. I'd imagine so. Alright, take care, Ladybug.
The art of combat must be practiced.
I'd say for a typical playstyle, expecting more than 20 relics per hour would be a little bit
I'm
crazy.
detecting void fissures nearby. Do you have a matching relic?
It's possible, but to maintain that rate in a efficient and worthwhile manner would be crazy. So 20 relics per hour you can crack yourself. And that's
Stay focused.
not even going to get 1,000 ducats typically.
They're dropping reactant.
That's not going to get 1,000 ducats. So it's less than 1,000 per hour.
Don't forget the reactant. You need more to open that relic. There's no telling.
If you put in an hour every single day for a year, then yeah, you can get an absolute shed load of ducats. An hour every day for a year, you'd probably be walking away with about 300,000
They will
ducats.
surely initiate the execution sequence. Tenno, get ready.
300,000 for an hour every single day.
Hurry up.
But that's putting in an hour every single day. That's 365 hours.
Prisoner,
And then you've got to trade in all the stuff and,
command
you
in
know,
one piece. Find your way to the exit.
actually get your value from that. That's also going to take some work on top.
Or just let us walk out of here.
This man too angry to die? Thank you.
Prisoner eliminated. Watch out for more.
Yeah, I didn't pick up reactors along the way, so I'm needing to farm it now. There we go. Wait. Okay. I swear that said I was still on 9 for a moment when it hit 10. That was weird. You have no clue what you're going to buy with your 100,000 ducats. I don't want to sound like I'm lecturing, so I won't say any more on it.
I'm detecting a large security force heading your way. It's the Grenier.
Too late, Lotus. I'm already out.
You are a blade. You exist to strike. You strike to win. The lesson ends.
Ah, got something in my eye. Probably my finger. Let's redo the mission. I'm down to 73 on these ranks. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them in this now same ballpark. 71 down there as well. I think before I wrap up stream today, I'm going to have to open up my own VOD and see how many Miso relics I started with. See how many I've cracked, including the times I've been distracted.
Accept your death, and you may yet
I'm
avoid
genuinely curious as to how many I'm
trust
pulling
in
out
your
here.
training.
Void fissures. You need them to open a relic, but are you confident you can withstand their fury? Keep moving. None of the scanners have detected you. We're near a fissure.
I swear we don't usually have the drops command triggered this many times unintentionally in a stream, but I've noticed that one pop up a few times today.
Keep fighting.
Wild.
More reactant.
Give me that reactant, give it all.
Stay focused.
And that one.
There's a
And
heavy
you,
unit
and you,
approaching.
and you.
There's no telling what the captors are doing.
And you, and you, and you, and you, and you.
You need to find the holding cell immediately.
That was not a corrupted one, I was just shooting it, I guess. Two more reactant to go. One more. Slightly misjudged which door is going to send me through. Oh, that wasn't even
That's it.
the prison door. That was just a random
Finish
friendship
your
door.
mission and we'll
Okay.
take a look inside. You are approaching the holding area. Careful. If the wardens detect you, they will surely initiate the execution sequence.
Don't know how they're going to detect me when I am moving at Mark.
Hostage is in
Fuck
one of
you.
these cells.
I knew you would come. Thank you.
You've located the hostage. Escort the prisoner to the extraction point, and I'll take care of the rest.
Alrighty.
Got a weapon for me? I've got some scores to settle.
Nope, no weapon still. Shoot. Got stuck a little too long there, but I can go around it. There we go. Oh, nullifier out of nowhere. Nailed it. Nailed it. Yeah, I had 91 of one, 81 of another, but I'm not sure on the numbers further down, so I'm curious just to how many I'll burn through by the end of stream. It won't be as many relics as we're giving away platinum at the end, but you know, we'll see. Let's go again. At least of the one I had 91 of, I've spent... I think this is possibly going to be the 20th of that stack right now.
The art of
You love this particular track? It is a nice one, isn't it? What is this one? It is
truly master the
Motion of the Edge. Ah, yes. I use that one in quite a few videos.
There are void fissures in the area.
It is a nice one.
To crack open a relic.
As of all the Stream Beats Synthwave, the Renegade playlist that came out first, it's just the best.
And use their
The others are nice to okay.
reactant. You need
There are some which really do just sit okay. But the Renegade playlist is definitely... sorry, Renegade album, definitely the best of them.
unit approaching.
No contest.
Find the captive as soon as you can. We don't have much time.
Let's continue our way through. Oh, need to keep getting the reactant. Don't forget the reactant, Ken. Are they corrupted? Yes, they are. Please corruption. Instant explosion. Two more reactant needed. Not gonna grab it there. This week's ETA's murder. Don't know how much attention I paid to it, I'll be honest.
That's it. You opened the relic. Finish your mission.
No, wait, I did the
Inside.
Urani video this week, so I did the ETA and EDA solo with her. Yeah.
Heads up. A Grineer assault
Which
team
granted
is
is
headed your way.
tanky and capable, so easier time than some will have. You've been using Sight and Iron to run your relics? Yeah, fair do. Very effective frame.
You are approaching the holding area. Careful. If the wardens detect you, they will surely initiate the execution sequence. The
Oh,
hostage
I
is
got
almost
detected.
out of time.
I don't know how I got detected that time, but I got
We've
detected.
reached the prison. Find our prisoner in one of these cells.
Oh, it's giving me a different exit.
Forget this,
Oh.
Tenno.
Subject found. You need to bring the captive to safety.
Is this an exit?
At all costs.
That that's not an exit.
Don't suppose
Stupid game. Tricking me. How dare. Much disapproved.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
straight into a second dash. Do I get a third? Not quite, but it charged up now. A triple dash is always the best form of dash you can get on Lavos. Being able to dash, instantly cast your 3 out at the end of it, dash again, and then by the time you finish that dash, the 3 has hit enough new enemies that you get another dash again. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. But very hard to pull off. Actually, Nave say, in my opinion, what is the worst frame and how would I change it? Gods. Worst frame would quite possibly go to Oberon at the moment. Quite possibly an Oberon. As for how to change it, how long's a piece of string? There are a million different things that could be done to that frame. A million different things. But every single one of those things hasn't been done to it, and so is, at this point, mostly just kind of throwing out ideas. I'm not usually a fan of speculating on could-be's rather than what is, because the main thing that could be achieves, when we're not designers ourselves, is to just make us sad for what doesn't exist. I usually don't dwell on that too much. At least try not to. Hello there, Jeezy. Welcome on in.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
Lotus is telling me to stay focused. Does she not know I am live streaming? Focus is one of the few things I can't have. Too many wonderful people to reply to. Alright, one more react until we good to go. Have I ever gone to TennoCon? Once. And that was because Dee very kindly paid for it.
Well done, Tenno. Your relic is opened.
They functionally sponsored me to go to TennoCon 2023.
Heads up. A Grenier assault team is heading
But
your way.
usually I can't go because the expense is just a lot. It would cost me about $2,000, which I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't exactly have 10,000 viewers watching. I don't have 1,000 viewers watching. There are right now 89 people here, which I'll be honest is a little quieter than this stream usually is, but still 89 people. That's not 2K per year holiday trip money. There. Alright, let's crack this open.
We're approaching the holding area. Careful. If the wardens detect you, they will surely initiate the execution.
How is that out of bounds?
Use caution. I am picking up traces of prosecutor shield auras in your vicinity.
I feel cheated.
We've reached the prison. Find our prisoner in one of these cells. Hurry up. You are running out of time.
Come on, open up. There we are. Alright, let's pull through.
Subject found. You need to bring the captive to safety. Protect them.
It would be nice to go to TennoCon again, but the very simple truth is that if I was having to fund it myself, basically I would need to roughly double. Yeah, I'd say roughly double the overall annual stats of my Twitch and YouTube. If things roughly doubled over the course of a year, then it will be within the realms of reasonably affordable. Assuming nothing else changed in my life in the process.
As you
You just moved to a place within driving distance at TennoCon, but tickets are sold out. Ah. Also, crossing border... Okay, that's its own thing, Reed, and you know what? I'm not going to touch that one. I'm just not going to touch that one. I have 1 million circuits? God damn. Alright. I mean, I did pick up 1,000 from just that mission, but still, 1 million circuits feels like a lot. Only million? I guess. Only.
The art of combat must be practiced to truly master the canvas of war.
Hi y'all, give me your headshots, thank
There
you.
are void fissures in the area. Use these to crack open a relic. A fissure. Defend yourself and use reactant to open relics.
We got any corrupteds here? Nope, nope, nope. Come on. God damn it. Corrupted? 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 Yeah!
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
Give.
They're
Come on.
dropping reactant.
Give
Use it to
reactant.
crack open a relic. Keep fighting. Look for more reactant. We can't
All the delicious reactant, please.
searching.
And when you think you've given me all of it, give me more. There, it's 7 out of 10. That's actually a decent spot for reactant. I don't know if it's going to spawn. 9 out of 10, that's a decent spot. 10 out of 10, that's a decent spot for reactant, yeah.
That's it. You opened the relic.
I think 10 out of 10 is pretty good for reactant. You know, it's usually a spot where things go correctly.
You are approaching the holding.
Are the new Prime weapons worth building up at all? Daikyu Prime, definitely an upgrade from normal Daikyu. Definitely got some power. Downside is you need to be precise. To get good power out of it, precision is key.
The hostage is
And
almost
then
out of time. Hurry.
for compressor,
The captive
it's definitely an upgrade,
cells.
but not a
Search them.
huge upgrade. And in fact, the AoE is currently bugged to not be an upgrade at all. If you take into account Riven Disposition, normal compressor will actually win out a lot of the time. Depending on the kind of setup and build you're going for, normal compressor can win out.
We need to get them back to command in one piece.
But that's
Find
only with a
the
Riven.
exits, and don't leave the subject behind.
Give me a weapon and I'll watch your back.
Don't leave the subject behind. Ah, Lotus. You've never seen a rescue happen, have you? I've got myself lost here. Hold on. There it is. That was mildly confusing for a moment. I can actually see my way forwards. Nope. Tried to be fancy about that. Screwed it up. There we are.
What you have learned
Daikyu and Mag? I mean, Daikyu and Mag, it's just, yeah, Daikyu and Mag as ever. But Daikyu Prime's unique trait is weak spot based, and Mag isn't exactly designed to hit the weak spots. Mag just mostly goes, bubble, go burr. There you are. Grab us another of these miso, and off we go again. If you aim at the top of the ball, should hit the head of which targets? One or all of them? Because like that's kind of the point, right?
your enemies have grown
If you're
fierce, you
casting it
fall
on
the
one
good
target,
Void fissure.
usually with the mag bubble, it's about the whole, hey, look, this projectile keeps going. Isn't this really powerful?
A fissure. Defend yourself and use reactant to open relics.
I don't know. Maybe it works for you. If I were a Banshee with Daikyu, Relay,
These are dropping reactant.
I've seen what your Banshee does. You don't need a Daikyu for that. You made me hit negative damage cap with an Amprex build. A normal Amprex, negative damage cap.
Unit approaching.
Banshee is cheating.
We can't leave without rescuing the prisoner. Keep searching.
You thought Isle Weaver would be out by now? Nope. I know they said June, but they didn't say 1st of June. I can't remember if they've given the date for it, but they didn't say 1st.
Heads up.
End of June? Fair enough. Yeah, usually if a company says something's happening in XYZ month, a specific date in the month, but they haven't given you the date, just assume it's towards the end. Some reason you thought it was the 6th? Huh. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know where you got that number from. Maybe you're thinking of another game. Alright, one more reactant required.
Careful. If the wardens detect you, they will surely initiate the execution sequence.
Oh, the Wardens have activated the sequence very quickly.
Is approaching.
I was still mid-bullet jump.
Hurry up.
That's my reactant. Lovely jubbly.
Find our prisoner in one of these cells. That's it. You open the relic. Finish your
Dash
mission
my way out of here.
inside.
Dash again. Oh, I almost did that correctly. Oh well.
You've located the hostage. Escort the prisoner to the extraction point, and I'll take care of the rest.
This is a dead end. Don't want to go in there. There's our exit.
Will was greater.
Nice.
This is good.
Really would say it's okay if D take a month more with the Isle Weaver update and we get less bugs, it's fine. On the one hand, sure. On the other hand, I don't know how many bugs there are going to be when the spider might have eaten them all. But we'll see. It is also going to be a Duviri moment, so God knows.
These foes deserve your respect. Honor them.
Nah, I'm not going to respect them. I'm going to donk on them.
Victory.
Okay, can I have the headshots? There we go.
You need them to open a relic, but are you confident you can withstand their fury?
Immolate the area,
You found a fissure. Look out for
and off we go.
defeat the corrupted. They will use their reactant to open a relic.
Megan hinted it's closer to Tenacon than last time. Fair enough.
Stay focused. There's a heavy
Would be funny if there was some Railjack release level bugs. I don't know if I'd find that particularly funny. Railjack release was bad. It was bad. Don't know why I used my 3 there. There wasn't a target in front of me.
You are approaching the holding area. Careful. If the wardens detect you, they will surely initiate the execution sequence.
Slide straight on in. Take this out.
Picking up traces of prosecutor shield auras in your vicinity.
Pop that. Didn't find what I was looking for. Pop this one.
Scanners have detected you.
Hold on, how many ciphers have I got left?
You've reached the prison. Find our prisoner.
Oh, 75. I read that as 7. I was like, what? No, 75. I'm fine. Also, I need the reactant, so
Subject found.
gonna have to shoot.
To bring the captain to safety. Protect them at all costs.
There we go. Let's dip out of here.
Your relic is opened.
Haven't got the range bonus this time, so no mega dashes, but we're already at the extraction. There we are.
As you conquer the foe, so you conquer yourself.
Now, I know it's physically not possible, but if D were able to deliver Isle Weaver basically bug-free, that would be the best. That would be the best. Just everything just works. And to their credit, they have had some very low bug releases in terms of at least the main content. From my experience, they have had some pretty low bug releases recently. Yeah, there's been interactions of weirdness in places. There's always going to be interactions of weirdness. Warframe is
Your enemies have grown
a very complicated game,
all that you have
to put it lightly.
There are void fissures in the area.
I think I saw a post just recently of someone doing the
Keep going. Nobody knows you're
ETA
here.
mission, and on the temple defense, somehow they went from temple is at full hit points to temple just... Well, actually, temple didn't seem to die, just the mission failed. In the frame before failure, it still showed us everything is fine. Sometimes game do this weird. It just do be weird.
You can't leave without rescuing the prisoner. Keep searching.
Just don't be as boring as the Jade Farm. We'll see what we get, honestly. Especially as to each own's opinion, really.
The reactant is working on your relic. Find more.
More reactant. I hear it over this way. Where are you hiding at? You in here? Yeah, you are. Blap, 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 blap. A slightly overkill amount of blappage, but it blapped. Damn, was none of that a headshot? The only downside of a swallowed up incarnate, it kills whether you get the headshot or not. There we go. Reactant acquired.
That's it. You opened the relic. Finish
Dash
your mission
through.
and take a look inside.
Host migration broke your temple defense.
You are approaching the holding area.
It dropped down, but temple stayed up with the platform. Oh, so yeah, just immortal temple. Well, that wins. Enemies too dumb to adapt to bug. Yep.
Ready for a tough fight. Here are the holding cells. Search each one for the
Fair enough,
hostage.
Mythic. If you're just not interested in Duviri, you're not interested in Duviri. I feel like a new update would be a worthwhile time to see if there is something else that catches your fancy about it, but if you're going to write it off straight up, fair enough.
Find your way
Can't
to
force
the
you
hostage
otherwise.
And don't leave the subject behind.
No. Oh, I tried to rescue that and failed. As long as I don't fail the actual rescue, we're all good, but... Ta-da!
It is done, Tenno.
It has an EDA that had a mirror defense as one of the missions, but instead of going to EDA mirror defense, it went to regular mirror defense? What, like, it went to Tiana Pass? Is that what you're saying, Ductile? Because if so, what? It's saying Temple Farm glitched out with Zaku. Enemy got stuck above and never died. There is a soft solution for enemies stuck where you can't reach them on that kind of mission. Apparently, the fix is to use a Stalker Spectre.
You have a matching relic.
The reason being is that the Stalker Spectre can teleport to an enemy,
Defend
and that allows them to attack them. So if there's only the one out-of-bounds enemy, then a Stalker Spectre can sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, teleport to and then kill said enemy.
You need more to open that relic.
So, build some, put them on your gear wheel as a last-ditch attempt if everything's going wrong, if an enemy is out of bounds, and just soft-locking the mission.
There's no telling
Stalker
what
Spectre.
doctors are doing to arrest the target. You need to find the
Just another one of those little weird workarounds you pick up. But it'd be better if that just didn't happen, yeah.
Heads up. A Grenier assault team is headed your way.
Yep, that one just exploded. I was hoping to get some headshots there, but if they're just gonna perish, guess I can't. That should be my reactor. Yep, there we go. Beautiful.
The relic has been cracked open. Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
Let's
You are approaching the
crack
holding
through
area.
here.
Careful. If the wardens detect you, they
How
will
does one
surely
even open
initiate
this door
the
anyway?
execution sequence.
Wait,
Tenno, get ready.
no, there's
A
not something up there.
prosecutor is approaching.
I don't know.
Hurry up. You are running out of time. Here are the holding cells.
4:30 AM? Yeah, that's definitely time to sign off. You have yourself a good rest, Captain.
Stars, not a minute too soon.
You take care.
You've located the hostage. Escort the prisoner to the extraction point, and I'll take care of the rest.
Escort.
Weapon for me?
No.
I've got some scores to settle.
Oh, screwed up the slide. My bad. There's my exit. Never heard of using Stalker before. I only found out about it recently. I wouldn't have even thought of using the Stalker spec myself, but browsing Reddit, as one does, I came across someone making the suggestion. They said that's how they managed to get through a stuck enemy, one that had fallen below the map somehow without dying. They deployed the Stalker Spectre, it teleported down to the enemy, killed it. So yeah. Your mileage will most likely vary, but you never know. You really never know. Since I emptied out most of the void traces earlier, I think I got it down to like 300. I'm now back up to 1300, so I've gained 1,000 void traces in like the last, what, 1.5 hours? Feels like that.
I'm detecting void fissures nearby. Do you have a matching relic? Keep moving. None of the scanners have detected you. You're near a fissure.
There we go.
The corrupted enemies are dropping reactant.
He's rolled into 3 free decrees on Kome. Nice. Luck is on your side.
Find more. Find the
Nope,
captive
that
as
was
soon as you can. We don't
that
have
was
much
not how to
time.
dash. We've had some good examples of that was a bad one.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
Give reaction to me, please. Oh, very quiet spot. There we are, there's the noise. Hurricane cells. Could always put more on the pile. 9 reactions, so I'm good to pretty much focus on getting to objective.
Will be cleansed.
Okay, that's... Sure, go ahead, spawn in. You'll spawn in over here. Or was I over here when you threatened me? There it is.
The relic has been cracked open. Finish your mission to find out what's inside.
And cleaned up. I will be cleansed, she says. Just another idle threat.
You are approaching the holding area.
Let's bullet jump our way over here, over into here,
The execution.
crack that one open,
Tenno, get ready. A prosecutor is approaching.
blow up the bailiff,
Here are the holding cells. Search
and
each one for the hostage.
extract. It's really easy.
You would come. Thank you.
Subject found. You need to bring the captive to safety. Protect them at all costs.
Ooh, unusual extraction to have.
Suppose you have an extra gun?
That is a bit of a rarity.
It is done, Tenno.
Someone's got angry at you for using a cipher. Well, fair enough. I mean, you look long and hard enough, you'll find someone for everything. Even the most insane of takes. I haven't turned in my ribbon slivers in a hot minute. I should probably deal with that. Before I forget again, Iron Wake. Let's go turn these in. As those ribbon slivers, they kind of add up to a bit of value, you know? Just a little bit. Let's drop ourselves in here. So I've got 2,849 ribbon slivers. It's worth grabbing a couple ribbons with those. And I'll grab the Cooper as well, why not? Failed EDA? Oof. What did you fail on, Alsu? What took you down? Mirror defense? Ah. Yeah, that can be a nasty one. If you've not got gear embargo, it might be worth putting down not just the Protector Spectres, but also use your on-call crew to help out. Yeah, gear is always a good way to go. Even if it's just distracting specters, that can get some work done, but there's a lot of gear you can deploy. Well, CDA mission, it is still pain to get through, absolutely. If you're not using the protector specters, you're at serious risk, even with no modifiers. It can just go so wrong so fast. But just putting it out, even the protector specter changes everything. It really does. Alright, off we go on to next.
Deserve your respect. Honor them with quick deaths, and I with your victory.
Nice blunt, mate. You put it down on the wrong side of you.
You need them to open a relic, but are you confident you can withstand their fury?
Actually, I should be looking for reactant.
Look out for reactant.
There we go.
They're
Add some more
dropping
heat to my attacks, make them more powerful.
relic. Keep fighting. Look for more reactant. Stay
One thing to
focused.
remember when it comes to EDA and ETA both is that they're not just designed to be hard.
Prisoner. Keep
They are designed to be team challenges. You want to be bringing a squad where you reasonably can do so, and you want to be making the choices that allow you to basically defeat the game mechanics. Not just beat the mode, you're defeating the game mechanics.
to open your relic.
So whether that is using specters smartly or on-call crew, whether that is having people tactically choose their frames and weapons so as to create a balanced loadout. For ETA especially, that might include bringing a very high impact weapon, or weapon with rapid forced impact procs, to help you take down the Dedicants that much faster.
If the wardens detect you, they will surely initiate the execution sequence.
That's what it comes down to for EDA and ETA both.
Prosecutor shield
You're
doors
supposed to bring all the guns, all the benefits, everything you can manage to make it stronger. Because if you're not going to use them there, when are you going to use them?
I thought I was gonna die in there. Thank you.
If you run Nourish, what elements should be built on Torrid against armor? I mean, Torrid can do well with just heat. You could go for corrosive heat if you want, because then you'll have corrosive, viral, and heat all at once. And dear God, will that tear through armored enemies. Otherwise, straight heat can also work, and you can spend the other mods else-how. Oh, escort is... No, sorry, hostage is going down real quick. Let's just get out of this mission. There we are. Got them to teleport to safety. No, I didn't. Briefly they did. I guess not very safe teleport. There, now they're fine.
A valuable lesson.
How many Fang Prime handles? I've only got 3 of them. It's not too terrible. 2,000 Orokin cells, alright. 1,000 Seal Essence, alright. I wonder how many people have more Steel Essence than Orokin cells. You gave up on last week's ETA because of the Legacy Harvest? Understandable, honestly. Understandable. I will be quite honest, I have skipped a lot of EDA and ETA weeks. I don't do them religiously, because I don't find them fun enough to commit that amount of time and mental effort to. I know that the rewards are there, the Archon shards, the Arcanes, that's about it. I know those rewards are there, I just don't connect enough with them.
Crack open a relic. You're still in the clear.
Not for that amount of aggro.
Sensors.
Not for constantly pouring over my loadouts going, alright, what
Defend yourself and use
crap am I trying to force together this time?
the enemies are dropping
It doesn't really connect with me.
Keep fighting. Look for more reactant. Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
Maybe you're saying when it sounds super annoying, you skip them too. Sometimes it's not worth it. Yeah.
Don't have much time.
I've probably skipped more ETA than I've actually completed, if I'm quite honest. It might be close, but I think it's in favor of skip overplay at this point. I get what the intended game mechanic is supposed to be there. The whole random loadout, work with what you've got, use your non-weapon and Warframe options to bolster your further, work against the curious modifiers, do your best on that regard, work with a team, blah 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 blah. I get it. I just... in summary, how to keep mag alive on high-level steel paths. Step 1, crowd control. Enemies will struggle to hit you if the bubble protects you. Step 2, shield gate. Straight up. So, crowd control, especially with the bubble, and then shield gate, that is basically mag 101.
You are approaching the holding area. Careful. If
Into the
anyone
holding
wants to
area
touch
we
you,
go.
They will surely initiate the execution sequence.
I overdid the jump there, but it's fine. Somehow did not shoot the fan, but shot through it.
We've reached the prison. Find our prisoner in one of these
Prisoner
cells.
found.
I'm in your debt, Tenno. Let's go home.
Prisoner located. We need to get them back to command in one piece. Find your way to the
And off to command with the prisoner.
I can fight too. Give me a weapon.
Oh! Screwed the turn. That's unfortunate. And then I have to jump. Not my best Lavos exit. Not my best. That could have been better. Oh well. Another Fang Prime handle. I shouldn't have commented on it. Oh dear. At least it's a 25 ducat rather than 15, but yeah. I'll say, which of the modifiers are less... Ugh. That's how they justify the extra reward, I suppose. Random loadout is some fun because it can be your Zero Form and No Potato Cyanix or Dual Toxicist. I get you on that, yeah. There's 9 items to choose from, so you usually got something worthwhile. So goes the theory. If I just pop down here real quick myself, just to see what's available to me right now. What would my options be in ETA? And what modifiers would I be fighting against?
Hi, fellow time traveler.
Okay. Get your
So, yeah, I did do it partially this time around. But yeah, that was with Euralian testing. So I missed out on probably another Archon Shard and probably another Arcane with a chance of being an Archon Shard. Oh well. I have Zephyr Nova Wisp. Zephyr, very good defensively. Except when there's this powerless one. I'll be honest, yeah, we could see what I ran the ETA with in terms of Eurali. I ran it with Hypersensitive, duration of negative status effects tripled, sure enough. Abbreviated abilities, duration down by 50%, sure enough. But powerless. All abilities are disabled until the squad kills 50 enemies. Nova survives by casting abilities. Zephyr survives by casting abilities. Wisp can jump. But the other two are like, oh. Okay. This is a really, really cruel modifier, I'll be quite honest. So many frames, their entire identity is about using their abilities, and it just says, no, get 50 kills first. And 50 kills can be more than a small amount depending on the mission type, honestly. That is a toughie. Duration of negative status effects tripled is manageable, plenty manageable. Ability duration's halved, that stings. That really stings. Undersupplied, max ammo on all weapons reduced by 75%. For explosive weapons in particular, this is just no. Those are some tough modifiers. And those modifiers in themselves, if these modifiers were forced on, then it would still be workable to pick certain frame and weapon combinations to work with it. But doing that, and then depending on the weapons you get, you go, oh wow, okay, that's just terrible for us. Now, if you don't get an Incarnon, this really stinks. If you do get an Incarnon, this basically doesn't matter. What did I get here? I got Corinth, Amprex Vectis, Tenet Diplos, and then 2 things unowned apparently. And Tenet Livia, Heliocore, Argo, and Val. Oh, I suppose melee isn't affected by that, sure. Yeah. Most modifiers aren't even fun, they're just destructive. I get what you're saying, yeah. This kind of thing, and I said the same when it came to the circuit, this kind of thing, I find myself looking back at actual, let's say, roguelike stuff. Now, I know that the EDA and ETA aren't roguelites. You just take your loadout, you run through, you're done. You're not building up as you go through like with circuit, but it's the same kind of idea of working with what you get to make a run happen. It's just that the what you get is happening right at the start. Also, Queen, cheers. I want to compare this to one of the best games in that entire genre, which is Slay the Spire. When it comes to Slay the Spire, you start with a very specific character, relic, and deck, and you have very specific upgrades attainable to you that pertain to that character, and then a lot of modifiers and stuff along the way that can make the run more interesting as well. When you look at all of the different options that come together and how much you can actually build to win in that game, it's solid. But when you look at it here, there isn't that designed cohesion. There isn't the idea of smartly building into it. It is very literally hitting the random button. And then when it comes to the modifiers, I think over to, again, on Slay the Spire, they have their daily climbs. Daily climb, you're given a fixed character, you'll give it a very specific start, you're given 3 very specific modifiers, and those modifiers substantially change the nature of the game you're interacting with. For example, resting at a rest site, rather than it giving you a portion of your hit points, it'll give you all of them, but your max hit points comes down each time you use it. These modifiers feel nothing like that. They don't change the game in a fundamentally interesting way. They are, as someone pointed out, just destructive. They're just punishments. They are entirely debuffs, and they're not small ones. All abilities disabled until squad kills 50 enemies. I know this is designed for teams, but even in a team that's still 12.5 kills per person, in slower missions, that's quite a few kills to get started. You want to defend an objective with defensive abilities? Not yet, you can't. Wait for 50 enemies to die. Okay. Howler's got you killed as Valk? Understandable, really. Understandable. Yeah. It's just... I don't feel particularly compelled by it, and I don't feel particularly like it wants me to enjoy it so much as suffer it. There's none of the emergent results that really make me feel happy about something randomized. Instead it's, okay, what have I got to work with this time? That's just not fun to me. I'm sure there are plenty of people that it is fun to. And I'm not saying that dismissively, I know there are plenty of people that it is fun to, but it really just is not it for me. It just ain't. Alright, this fish has still got a little bit left on it. Let's crack another of these relics. Actually, I'll crack this last one, and then I'll go back in the VOD, see if I can see the number of relics cracked total. All that for a blue shard? Well, to be fair, you do get multiple rewards. So if you go to the full effort there, you're looking at 2 of the basic rewards, 2 of the... was it 2 gold rewards and 1 platinum reward? Or was it 1 gold, 1 plat? I can't actually remember. I think it was 2 gold, 1 plat.
Defend yourself. And
Point is, there's a bunch of rewards, and then there's a PD picks, which you turn in for just basically another set of arcanes.
the reactant is working on your relic. Find more.
And you can tone down the amount of reward you claim if you want to turn off some of the most egregious modifiers. Now,
There's no telling what the captors are doing to our
if you or your teammate have the right setup available, 50 kills is easy. Yeah, if someone has the right setup, it's fine. If. And that's the thing. That's what's different between EDA, ETA, circuit, all of that stuff with randomized setups versus roguelike games where you have randomized build your setups. Be it FTL, be it Slay the Spire, things to that effect. The difference is that you don't have to ask, will I have a setup that can do it, or do I have to see if someone else does? You instead just go into the game going, yep, I'm going to make this work. I'll see what I get, and I'll put something together with it. Is it going to be a Burst Laser 3 Weapon Pre-Igniter FTL run? Or is it going to be a Beam Lasers? Are you going to use a boarding strategy? You can build into it. Slay the Spire. Are you going to go for Divinity play? Are you going to go for a, let's say, constant Calm and Wrath switch? Are you going to go for a Shiv build, Poison build, Discard build? Something else entirely. You can build into it, work with the development. You don't know what relics you're going to get, you don't know what upgrades you're going to get, what are the events, you work with it. Warframe's offerings? Not that. It's all kind of shown to you up front with the exception of decrees
If the wardens detect you,
in terms of circuit, and
execution sequence. I am detecting a
the challenge is instead, how much can you make this not suck?
The hostage is
That's what it
almost
feels
out of
like.
time. Hurry.
Yeah, it just doesn't connect with me.
One of these cells.
Am I interested in Soulframe at all? Oh, I'm going to start sounding like a negative Nancy here because the answer is no. I've seen Soulframe gameplay as it currently stands, and pretty much every single time I have seen Soulframe, bar like once, every single time I've just basically gone, I'm sure it's fun for someone, but it don't look like it for me. I've just not seen anything of Soulframe so far that makes me want to connect with it. I'll be quite honest.
They fought well. Good deaths all.
Can I rate you a fashion frame out of 10? Give you some tips? I'm definitely the wrong person to reach out to on that, sorry. I solve practical problems, not problems of beauty. Yeah, I'm definitely not a fashionista. Definitely not. Alright, let's see. In terms of the Miso relics, where am I up to now? Those are where my owned relics are at. If I click through here, I should be able to go back through my VOD real quick. I should be able to go back through my own VOD, live as it is on Twitch, and see how many I started with, because I didn't note it down. Nope, that is a clip. I didn't mean to click that. I want the videos to get the current live stream. There it is. Go back to the start of all this. Where was it? Where was it? Where was it? Okay, that was too... Hold on. What? Got it. Okay, so I had 91 N17s, 81 of the G6s, 79 of the B9s, 75 of the M4s, 74 of the A7s, and 71 of the H5s. And these are all now at 70. Which makes this nice and easy. It's 21, 11, 9, 5, 4, and 1. That is 51 relics. That's actually a little bit less than I expected. I thought it was going to be about 60. 51 relics, which makes that about 17 relics per hour. Granted, a little bit of distractions here or there, but 17 relics per hour is what I just pulled out there. Which... that's not too terrible. All told, that's not too terrible. That's a little over 3 minutes per relic average. And even then, there was a little bit of time before starting. We've done just under 3 hours here. So, a little bit over 17 relics per hour. I think that's a pretty good rate, honestly. On that note, I think it's about time we do a platinum giveaway. Exclamation mark ticket in the chat for a chance to win it if you've not already claimed yourself a ticket for today's stream. Exclamation mark raffle if you have no idea what it's about, but basically it's a 75 plat giveaway to any one person on the channel here. I think there are some ads happening at the moment for some people, so I will be repeating this point in just a moment. We'll give you all a moment to grab the tickets there. Duff Blaze just pointing out, yeah, fair enough, it's a very different game and still just in pre-alpha. Yeah, that's the thing, is that we've heard about Soulframe since pretty much the moment it was just a title card. We've been hearing about Soulframe from the moment of just a title card, and I remember the reveal feeling a little bit weird at the time. It was like, is this the direction that Warframe's going? It surely can't be. And turns out, no, it wasn't. It's a different game. But for a moment, there was that thought of, wait, what? Because of including frame in the name. But no, it's a separate thing entirely. It's just, how do I put this? For all of the themes, for all of the vibes, and it has, from what I've seen, a lot of theme and a lot of vibe to it. Cool, okay. You're welcome to have a theme, you're welcome to have a vibe. It's kind of a good idea to have a theme and a vibe and what's going on there. But for me to grab onto a game, I've played enough games over time to have a good idea as to what kind of gameplay does and does not grab me. And I look at the gameplay that they've showcased for Soulframe each and every time they've showcased it, or if I've seen clips or bits of someone streaming it, and I'll look at the fluidity of the combat, and it's not what I would look for in that kind of medieval adjacent sword and not quite sorcery style. I say sword and not quite sorcery because there does seem to be more of a focus on the sword than the sorcery, but still. It just doesn't connect for me. The way the enemies move, the way the attacks move, it reminds me more of a dance. A awkward, protracted dance than it is combat. Yeah. When I see melees that look like an awkward, protracted dance where enemies will kind of taunt around you a bit and then go for a very protracted attack, very telegraphed kind of swing, where it all seems a bit theatrical. Yeah. So saying that you don't like watching martial arts fighting. It's interesting that you just bracket that as entirely martial arts fighting. Also, watching and engaging in are two separate things. It's not very easy to see, but I do have my medal and trophy from years back. I've engaged in plenty of martial arts myself. Competitions at local and regional level, didn't get to national. Well, technically kind of national. It wasn't that national. There's just a couple ones from outside the region. But yeah, I've been involved in martial arts myself. I did judo and jiu-jitsu for years. Granted, my physical build always held me back. I've never been particularly good at working out to build strength, but having the skill and talent to at least maintain that, yeah. And that is fighting. Judo has its strict rules behind it, absolutely, but it's still fighting. Whereas I would compare more of it to dance in what I see in Soulframe's gameplay, what I've seen of it. Because there isn't the move to finish a fight, there isn't the move to make it lethal, except from the player's side, and even the player's swings are kind of the demonstration of what looks like a lethal swing. I think the right word is choreography? You're probably right there. Yeah, that might be the closest one. It looks like it's choreographed. But awkwardly. It's not a fluid choreography. It's an awkward choreography. Like I said earlier, theatrical. What weight class I compete in? The bottom weight class wherever was available, because up until recently, I have always been underweight or very underweight. And that recently is basically since I switched from, switched into desk jobs, to be quite honest. That's the simple truth on that. There you are. So that's why I'm not particularly fussed with Soulframe. I have so far not seen anything of it that really makes me go, yes, this is a game I want to play. I just haven't. It's the same with having seen bits and pieces from Star Citizen. Never mind the news of it, I've watched a couple short bits of streams of people trying to stream and play it, and emphasis on trying because the number of times it broke. Yeah, I just... Boy. There's only so many hours in a day, only so many days in a year, and only so many games can occupy only so many of those times. Me, I just don't see it. The Soulframe's going to do it. Not for me. When it hits a proper release, then sure, I may give it a full try. But when it's still in pre-alpha, no thank you, quite frankly. If it were a game that really appealed to me, if it was something that grabbed the core of what I like, sure, I'd maybe be more involved, may give it more of a try, even though it's in pre-alpha, but I prefer games that are either live updated and done up to their live update, like Warframe, or are just otherwise done. You get the game, you can play it. No promises of tomorrow, next year, next decade. Just, there's enough games which are done, I can play those. Yeah. Alright, I did say about the tickets, but I'm going to repeat for those of you who did get hit by an ad at that time. We're doing the giveaway in just a second now. Exclamation mark ticket in the chat. You've got less than 60 seconds to grab it if you've not already grabbed a ticket to have a chance at that 75 plat giveaway. I'll give you all just one more moment on that, just in case Umbrelli, one of the subscribed moderators, has not grabbed a ticket yet. Or Mythic Spirit. What? No, Mythic already was in. Okay, I was going to say, what? Fair enough. You've been looking for a while? Yeah, that's fine, Ellie. There is no requirement to enter. I just want to make sure that anyone who does want to enter has had that fair opportunity. That they've not been blocked from the entering by ads covering the announcement of it. They've just forgotten or whatnot. Yeah, just give you all a moment on that. And then we'll just do the quick draw. Let's see, how many have we got in today? Oh, there was one last one that came in. No, we got 50. Let's go with 50. Alright then, out of those of you who have entered, all 50 of you, only one of you is going to be the winner today of that plat giveaway. That is indeed going to be Al Aegir. Aegir, congratulations! I know you're probably not actually here right now because Aegir did say they needed to go for a rest earlier, which is absolutely fine. You're allowed to do that. So Aegir, I'll be contacting you shortly after the end of this stream to get hold of your Warframe username, platform, and if you got cross-save turned on or not. So long as Aegir responds within 24 hours, that'll be secured for them. Congratulations on that, Aegir. And to everyone else, thank you very much for joining in today on a bit of Relic cracking. I know it's been not a very technical stream, not a very high-octane stream. It needed a little bit of a... Sometimes you just need a little bit of a cooldown. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ronald. No birthday gift from Stream Elements for you. Stream Elements is just a bot. It has no feelings. It does not understand the significance of birthdays. Sad to say. Anywho, for now, let's see who we can raid on over to. Let us see, who can we give a little bit of love to today over in the Warframe category? And for that, I need to see who's actually live. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who is live? I don't know, but let's just sort it and find out. I think there were drops happening over at Megabyte's stream, but I think those may have ended now, judging by the viewer count changing how it has. But we can still pop in on Megabyte, see how they're doing, honestly. Let's head on over to Megabyte. So, raid is up. That has started, but that is all from me today. Thank you very much for joining in. I will see you in the next one on Wednesday. All the best, Take care. Oh, and a final word for those of you in the UK. Don't forget, next Sunday is indeed Father's Day, so don't know if that applies to other countries, but do make sure you actually think to get that sorted for those who intended to do so. Until then, bye-bye.